Hey guys! This is part 2 of What If Naruto Was Smart and a seal master. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one, and also please check the author in the description. Let's start. Chapter 6, Harsh Training. Team 7 was present at their training ground at 6 like Kakashi had asked. When 5 minutes past 6 Kakashi hadn't appeared, Naruto started jogging around the training ground. "Naruto, you idiot, what are you doing?" Sakura yelled. Naruto just shot a Sandaime at her to shut her up. It hit, and she wasn't fast enough to pull it out before the poison started working. Sakura stood again, paralyzed in the spot she had been. Naruto kept running. After 10 laps, he started stretching. Just when he wanted to start with strength exercises, Kakashi appeared in a cloud of smoke. Sakura was freed from the paralyzing poison and wanted to hit Naruto. "Sakura, stop it." "Sasuke, report what happened," Kakashi ordered. At 5 past 6, Naruto started running around the field. Sakura shouted at him what he was doing. Naruto hit her with one of his senbons that are coated in a paralyzing poison again, and he continued his exercises. He just finished stretching and Sakura got over the effect of the poison when you appeared. Sasuke said, "I see." "Sakura, what reason did you have for shouting at Naruto?" Kakashi asked. "He is just trying to make himself look better than Sasuke. And he should have waited for you to tell us what we should do," she accused Naruto. "Naruto, what do you have to say?" Kakashi asked. "I have sensitive hearing and warned her several times now that I won't take her screeching anymore. She is a kunoichi and should behave like that if she doesn't want to be killed on a mission. And the poison just paralyzes her for some minutes. This type had duration of 10 minutes. I was doing general warm-up exercises to use the time until you came efficiently. Nothing more than running and stretching. I would have continued with push-ups if you hadn't appeared." Naruto said. "I see. Sakura, work on your attitude. There is no reason to yell at your teammate for doing a warm-up to breach time. There are some reasons I won't be on time sometimes, so I expect you to do something useful while I take care of other things. You are considered adults since you became ninja, so behave like that. You can't expect that everything will be told to you. I don't care what you do while you wait for me, as long as it helps with your development as a ninja. But while waiting for physical training to begin, warming up is the most logical choice. Naruto, please refrain from paralyzing your teammates. You can never know what will happen. If there would have been an attack, she wouldn't have been able to defend herself, and you and Sasuke would have had to cover her until your poison wore off," Kakashi said sternly. In his head he cursed the mess the civilian council had left for him to clear up. He would really like to introduce them to his 1,000 years of death technique, especially Sakura's mother. "Understood, sensei," Naruto said, accepting Kakashi's reasons even if in the village the probability of an attack was pretty slim. He thought Kakashi was capable of faking an attack just to get his point across. "Good, now the first thing we will work on is your stamina. Our team has a focus on combat. Therefore you will have to be able to last in a fight. We will start with running 15 laps around the training ground. I will take your time to see where you stand in your training. Today I will mainly get an impression of your physical abilities before we will work on some formations for missions." "Ready, set, go," Kakashi said, and the three started. Soon it was obvious that Naruto was way better trained than the other two, even if Sasuke did a good job for a rookie. Sakura was panting after 3 rounds already. Naruto finished with 2 rounds on Sasuke. The proud Uchiha didn't like the lead Naruto had and increased his speed for the last 2 rounds. Then he sat down next to Naruto waiting for Sakura to finish. "I would advise you to do some stretching while you wait," Naruto said to Sasuke. Sasuke's first instinct was to tell Naruto off, but the blonde was already doing his own exercises again. He had to admit it would be a good filling of time, and from what Kakashi had told them just a bit earlier, he expected them to fill spare time during training efficiently. So he started with the stretching. Finally, 5 rounds after Sasuke had finished his laps, Sakura was done. She fell on her knees panting. We really need to work on your stamina, Sakura. A graduate like you should be able to easily run 15 laps for warming up. Get to stretching for 5 minutes, then we will do the next exercise," Kakashi said, shaking his head. He looked at Naruto and Sasuke, who were doing strength exercises. "Good performance, you two." "Sasuke, Naruto, how many repetitions of your exercises are you doing at the moment?" he asked. 50 of each, Kakashi-sensei," Sasuke answered, glad he had taken Naruto's advice. Perhaps the blonde really knew what he did. 100 of each, Kakashi-sensei," Naruto said. "Good. That's a good level for your current levels." Sasuke, we will work over the next months to get you to the same level Naruto is right now. For a fresh graduate, you are doing really well. Don't try to overdo it too fast just to catch up with Naruto. He has trained harder and more than you in the past, that is all there is to it. If you keep up your work like you do at the moment, you will get there soon enough. Kakashi said. Sasuke didn't understand it. How could Naruto have trained more than him? He trained 3 hours each day after the academy. How would Naruto be able to top that? But Kakashi seemed to see his potential, so he must have done something right. Just what had Naruto done better than him? And how did he hide it? I train from 6 every morning to 9 in the evening. I sent a shadow clone to the theoretical lessons in the academy to take my place after I learned that jutsu. That's the time advantage I had on you. Naruto said, seeing Sasuke's look. What? Sasuke asked. You wondered how I managed to train more than you. That's the answer. Naruto said and changed his exercise. Sasuke really wondered about his teammate. He didn't hide his dislike for both him and Sakura, but he still gave him useful information. He didn't understand. Kakashi watched the exchange. He was glad that Naruto at least talked to Sasuke professionally. He had no illusions that the boys could ever become friends. It would need a miracle to achieve that. But a healthy working attitude would be enough for him. Perhaps Naruto knew that too. They were worse than him and Obito had been, and they had more emotional scars from the past than him and Obito had had. And Sakura was nothing like Rin, who had moderated between them. Sakura was finished with her stretching exercises. Kakashi knew she wouldn't keep up if he didn't give her a short break, so he decided he would hold a short quiz about optimizing their training. Good, now that you are all warmed up, we will have a few things cleared before we start with the next part. Who can tell me what is the most important thing for a ninja to do besides training right to get strong? He asked. Sakura raised her hand. We aren't at the academy. You don't need to raise your hand anymore, Sakura. Kakashi informed her. Oh, okay, Kakashi-sensei. The most important thing is learning about theory. Politics, geography, strategy and the like. She answered. That's good to know but not the most important thing. Kakashi said. Sakura was shocked. That had always been the most important thing at the academy. The academics, a balanced diet. Sasuke answered. Correct, why? Kakashi asked. Our bodies need certain nutrients to give us the energy for training and to build up muscles. With too little food or the wrong kind of food, we are hindering our development. We need carbohydrates, fats and proteins, vitamins and water to have our bodies work properly. Naruto continued. Exactly. So what would be the worst thing for a ninja to do? He asked. Dieting. Sasuke answered. But how would one keep their figure if they don't diet? Sakura protested. She was on a diet after all to impress Sasuke with her figure. The male members of the team looked at her as if she was stupid. Ninjas don't need to diet because we work out all the time. We burn so much energy over the day that we need to eat a lot more than civilians. Where a normal working civilian would do well to keep his figure with about 2,000 calories, a ninja needs at least 3,500 with my understanding of normal training. You don't have to fear becoming fat with our training, I can guarantee that. Kakashi said. Additionally, you hurt yourself if you diet at your age. Sakura needed some time to process that. Kakashi-sensei, are we going to learn how to hunt and fish? The academy mentioned that on longer missions ninjas should know how to properly get at least proteins. But we were never taught how to hunt or fish. Sasuke asked. Yes, that will be part of our training, Sasuke. You will also learn about all the edible plants in Fire Country and the neighbor countries. Kakashi answered. Okay, enough of a break. Next I will test your speed. You will go over to the other side of the field, and then sprint back to the post here. Kakashi ordered and made a shadow clone to accompany them to give the start signals. Once they were in the other side, Kakashi let Sakura run first. She raced to the other side a bit faster than a trained civilian. Then Sasuke started, way faster than Sakura. Last was Naruto. Should I use my real speed, Kakashi-sensei? He asked. Yes. They need to know that you aren't a pushover. But leave your resistance seals activated. I don't want to make Sasuke more jealous than necessary. How did you know that I wear resistance seals? I didn't even tell old man Hokage about them. Naruto asked. You forget that your father was my sensei. He had all of us use them. Kakashi said. Go. He ordered and Naruto ran. He was nearly double as fast as Sasuke. Sakura fumed. How did the dead last dare to show up her Sasuke like that? You cheated, Naruto. She accused him. There is no cheating with ninjas, Sakura. Cheating, as you call it, is part of our jobs, get used to it. And Naruto didn't even strengthen his muscles with chakra, or he would have been even faster. Kakashi admonished her. Don't accuse your teammates for something that is normal in the ninja world. Sasuke seemed to ring with himself. How could he get the same strength as Naruto? He was an elite, he should be stronger than Naruto. Was it really only the additional training Naruto had done? Okay, I guess you are wondering how Naruto can be this fast. Kakashi addressed Sasuke and Sakura. Both nodded. He has trained using resistance seals. Don't confuse them with gravity or weight seals, they work differently. A resistance seal does, like its name say, increase the resistance a body is confronted with. On the first level it feels like you are wading through water. With each additional level it gets harder. Using these seals helps you building up speed and strength. I will place those seals on both of you tomorrow morning before we start our training. They will stay activated the whole day, even when you sleep for 2 weeks. Then we will train with them deactivated to get you used to the effects. But that's for a later time. Kakashi explained. Sasuke nodded. So he would catch up over time. It seemed Kakashi really intended to make him stronger. This training was much better and harder than the one the academy had them do. Sakura was scared. How would she manage to stay a proper lady with the training her sensei planned to have them do? And why was Naruto already that much ahead? Okay, next part is coordination. Naruto, I would like your assistance. Kakashi took out a scroll from his pocket and opened it. He unsealed about 100 poles. Have your shadow clones place them in 3 lines with a distance of 1 meter between the poles. The lines are to be 10 meters next to each other. Kakashi ordered. Naruto nodded and made 20 shadow clones that took the poles and placed them in lines. I want you to run slalom through the poles 3 times over to the other side and back. I will take your times. Ready, set, go, he said, and the 3 ran again. Kakashi had them do 50 push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, jumping jacks and lifting weights each next. Then he let them walk on their hands through the slalom course. He wrote down all their times. Finally he declared it enough, much to the relief of Sakura. Okay, this is what we will be doing every day for warm-up. As running around the training ground isn't that interesting, I want you all to meet at the gate at 6 each morning to run 2 laps around the village. That's only for the beginning though. We will increase the laps once you get better stamina. After that we will start with stretching and strength exercises. Sakura, you will do 30 of all the exercises we did today. Sasuke, you will do 50, Naruto 80. That should take you about the same time. If one of you still has time until Naruto is finished, add a few repeats. After that I will tell you the exercise for the day, Kakashi said. Sakura looked ill, Naruto and Sasuke happy. That would be good training. Okay, I told you we would work on formations after our workout. We will go through different situations. I will tell you the standard formations and then you will practice them. Kakashi instructed them. It was lunchtime and Sakura lay on the ground groaning. This was not what she had expected from training. Kakashi handed out lunch to them and gave them bottles with water in which vitamins had been added. Naruto and Sasuke started eating and drank their water without comment. Sakura finally managed to push herself up. She didn't care about her diet at the moment. She was hungry and needed to eat something. She looked at the lunchbox and saw that there were some rice balls, some grilled fish, some green beans and tomatoes. Okay, while you eat, I want to give you some instructions for your meals. For breakfast, eat enough to last you 5 hours, but make sure it is balanced. For the drink, take milk, cereals are good, some dark bread, cheese, sausage, eggs, and fruits. I will provide you with lunch to make sure you get enough nutrients for the first week. After that you should have an idea what to pack in your lunchboxes and how much. For dinner, meat and fish are always good, some noodles, rice, vegetables. You can also have sweet desserts. It won't matter if you eat sweets, as I said, you will work the calories off no problem. Go to bed early enough, because you will have to get up at 5 to get ready for training and eat breakfast without haste. Bring some snacks for short breaks with you. I recommend fruit or vegetables, some sandwiches or rice balls. They are meant to give you back some energy without being heavy. Kakashi lectured. He would do this correctly. And from tomorrow on he would join his team in their exercises. If he needed to get back to his old strength and increase it, he would have to use the time. He expected to be back to full strength in 3 months. Then he could work on getting better. Once his genin had eaten, he gave them half an hour off to relax. They could do whatever they wanted. He knew Sasuke and Sakura needed the recovery time. Naruto would probably be able to go on. Sakura seemed relieved about the break. Sasuke accepted it well enough and Naruto lay down to take a nap. Kakashi led his team to a group of trees that had nearly the same height. Okay, as I told you, one of the first exercises a genin has to learn is climbing vertical surfaces. Here in Konoha we do this by tree climbing. This exercise has a double benefit. For those with bigger chakra reserves like Naruto and Sasuke, it mainly helps them learn how to better control their chakra next to the ability to climb all surfaces without problem. The better you control your chakra, the less chakra you waste using your jutsu, which means you can go longer in a fight and use more jutsu. For somebody with small reserves like Sakura, this is also an endurance exercise. By repeatedly doing this exercise until you master it, you build up your reserves, which will also lead to you being able to keep going longer. Kakashi explained and then walked up the tree without using his hands. As you see, I am sending my chakra to my feet. Finding the right amount of chakra is important. If you use too little chakra, you don't stick. If you use too much, you will be repelled. He took out 3 kunai and threw them at his genin. You will mark your progress with these kunai. Naruto, make 4 clones and place them around the tree you are working on. Kakashi instructed. Naruto wondered what Kakashi had thought up, but made the clones. Kakashi walked down the tree again. For the beginning it would be easiest if you took a running start. Now, Naruto, your clones have the job to try and keep you from reaching the top. I know that you already know this exercise, so we will make it harder for you by having your clones trying to hit you with some of your senbons. Kakashi said. Naruto nodded. He had already done the exercise with his clones throwing rubber balls and stones. Senbons would help him be even more motivated. And it wasn't like he wouldn't heal fast if he was hit. Sasuke was the first to take a running start. He got up some steps, then he was blown back. Sakura reached a branch high up in her first try. This is easy, Kakashi-sensei. She announced. Well done, Sakura, but I said that it will be an endurance exercise for you. You will run to the top of your tree and down for as long as you can. Once you can't keep it up anymore, take 5 minutes break, and then start again. Kakashi told her. Sakura gulped. She never had to train this hard before. But she wanted to impress Sasuke and this exercise could be one she could do well. So she started running to the top, then back down. She had to pause on the ground shortly. This was harder than it first seemed. Then she had to run up and down again. Sasuke had some problems too. He was blown away at a certain height all the time. He was getting more and more frustrated. Especially as in the tree next to him Naruto was showing great skills in the exercise already, and was dodging the senbons his clones threw at him, while still keeping the tree walking up. Sasuke, you have to concentrate and keep your calm. Your chakra is influenced by your emotions. So if you are getting angry, it will be harder to practice control. Kakashi said. Sasuke, after he had been blown off again, tried to follow his sensei's instructions. He took some deep breaths to calm down. He concentrated his chakra to his feet. Then he ran at the tree again. He passed his former mark by 7 feet before he was blown away again. He grinned. Okay, that was the trick. He had to gain control over his emotions and his chakra. He looked over to Sakura, who was sweating and breathing hard, hunched over. She really had little stamina. Chapter 7. Results of the first day of training. That evening Kakashi dismissed his genin team at 6 and reminded them that he would place the resistance seals on Sasuke and Sakura tomorrow, and therefore they were meeting at training ground 3 before they would start their laps around the village. Naruto left first to go home. He wanted to work on a seal. Sasuke also walked home, feeling the effects of the hard training he had done over the day. He had to say he was pleased with how the training had gone. True, Naruto was better than him at the moment, but he would catch up. It was only a question of the right training. He felt he was now finally getting closer to Itachi, and he would endure all the hard training Kakashi could throw at him if it got him strong enough to kill Itachi. Sakura felt dead tired. She had never before done that kind of training. She thought Kakashi-sensei was a sadist. How the hell could the boys stand this? Well, Naruto was a freak. Her mother had always told her that, and Sasuke was Sasuke. It was normal that he was better than all others. When she reached her home, she remembered what Kakashi had told them about eating right. She would eat something tonight. But she would also make sure it wouldn't make her fat. She wasn't convinced that a ninja could eat all he wanted. Hello Sakura, how was your day? Her mother asked. Strenuous. Please, I need something to eat. She answered. Sweetie, aren't you on a diet to impress Uchiha-sama? Her mother asked, frowning. Kakashi-sensei forbid me to diet, and told me that ninja wouldn't get fat with all the training they do. I am not completely sure about that though, But if we are training like today all the days, I have to eat more than before. Can I have some salad and fruit? She asked. Her mother contently nodded. Salad and fruit didn't have a lot of calories. That Jonin didn't seem to understand the principles of getting a good husband. But what could be expected from a man? She took to cutting salad, cucumber and tomatoes and prepared a bit of dressing for her daughter. Here, sweetie, there you are. A nice salad to fill your stomach but which won't make you fat, she said smiling. Thanks, Mum, Sakura said and began eating. So what did you do for training? Her mother asked. Kakashi-sensei tested our physical abilities today. Of course Sasuke was great. He was so much better than me. We had to run 15 laps around the training ground, then we had to sprint from one side of the ground to the other. A slalom through pole sets of 50 repeats for different exercises. Then we got a lecture on the right diet for a ninja. Can you believe that Kakashi-sensei thinks a ninja should eat 3,500 calories a day? Sakura asked. What? But that will make you fat. There is no way you could keep a good figure to impress Sasuke-sama if you ate that much. Her mother was scandalized. I know. But he seemed serious. For the next week Kakashi-sensei will provide our lunch so we can get an idea what we should pack, he said. We are to bring snacks for morning and afternoon breaks. Something like fruit, sandwiches, rice balls or vegetables. And a lot to drink. He also recommended eating meat and fish, I think he said for building muscles. Sakura reported. But that would make you look ugly. What self-respecting woman would want to look like a muscle mountain? Sakura's mother asked. I don't know, but obviously both Sasuke and Naruto agreed with Kakashi. Sakura sighed. Naruto? He is your second teammate? Her mother asked worried. Yes. But he is such a nuisance. He is mean to me and disrespects Sasuke. Just because I told him off for starting to train without Kakashi-sensei being there, he shot me with a saban with one of his paralyzing poisons. I couldn't move for 10 minutes. Sakura complained. He poisoned you? I will take care of that. I won't allow for that freak to harm my daughter. Sakura's mother screeched. Sakura nodded. Naruto would see what happened if you treated her badly. After all, her mother was on the civilian council. Okay, when do you have to be at your training ground tomorrow? Her mother asked. At 6. Sakura said. He even takes your beauty sleep away. If you weren't on Sasuke-sama's team and therefore in the best position to win him as your husband, I would demand for you to be put on another team, but you will just have to persevere and show Sasuke that you are the only suited girl for him. She said. Don't worry, Mum. I will win him, and then I will become Mrs. Sakura Uchiha once we are old enough. Sakura said dreamily. That's my girl. Her mother said proudly. The next morning at 10, Isami Haruno walked to the meeting room of the civilian council and told that her daughter had been poisoned by the demon. Of course, all the other counselors were enraged and thought they now finally had something to get the demon for. They had an ANBU that listened to them sent out so that Naruto was called in. At training ground 3, Team 7 was again going through physical training. This time Kakashi was doing his own exercises at the side of his team. Then an ANBU appeared. Kakashi looked up and asked the ANBU what he wanted. Naruto Uzumaki is to immediately appear at the Hokage Tower on orders of the council. The ANBU informed Kakashi. You say the council gave this order? Kakashi asked. Yes, Kakashi. The ANBU confirmed. He has training now, and if you don't have orders from the Hokage, I won't let him leave his training. When you have orders from the Hokage, come back, Kakashi said and went back to his exercises. The ANBU looked at Kakashi as if he was from another planet, but he also knew that the ex-ANBU wouldn't budge on his opinion. And as the demon brat's sensei, he had the power to forbid the brat to leave his training. The ANBU decided it would be best to return to the council to report. In the meeting room, the council was preparing to rip the demon apart, but the only one returning was the ANBU they had sent. Where is the boy? Isami asked. He won't come. Kakashi Hatake gave me the message that he would only let his student leave his training if you had orders from the Hokage. Otherwise his student would stay with him to train. The ANBU said. How dare he? Jinbai Rinohara asked enraged. He was a wealthy merchant. We are the council, we deserve respect. Wakata Teiji said. Who does he think he is? I will get that order from the Hokage. Just he waits. Isami said and stormed to the Hokage's office. The Hokage was working on his paperwork, questioning himself how it always was so much paperwork he had to do. But he couldn't delegate it either because the council would try to pass laws that were only meant to increase their wealth or screw Naruto over. Then Isami Haruno stormed into his office. He would have to remind her who ruled the village. Hokage-sama, I demand that the boy and his sensei are called in. The brat poisoned my daughter yesterday, but when we sent him a messenger to call him before the council, his sensei refused to let him go. He said he would only allow it if you gave the order. She ranted loudly. Counselor Haruno, you want to tell me that you think you can command me? He asked dangerously. No, Hokage-sama, of course not, but he poisoned my daughter, she said, realizing she had made a mistake by just charging into the office. Do you think you have more power over my ninja than me? The Hokage asked again. No, Hokage-sama, she answered. Then why do you think you can use the ANBU guard the civilian council got as a messenger to command one of my ninja? If you want to question one of my ninja, you will first inform me of the supposed crime said ninja committed. Then I will decide if an order to appear here is justified. Do you understand? He asked icily. Yes, Hokage-sama, she answered intimidated. Good. And your so-called poisoning of your daughter was a paralyzing agent that only worked for 10 minutes. Kakashi already took care to solve the issue yesterday, and reported to me what he did to prevent such an incident in the future. Make no mistakes. I know what you tried to do. This is your last warning. Stop sabotaging Naruto Uzumaki or you will regret it. Naruto is a ninja under my command and therefore you have no control over him anymore. Leave my office, I have to work. The Hokage dismissed her. When she had fled his office, he called Kat, one of his ANBUs. Kat, fetch me all the ANBU that are tasked with guarding the civilian council. He ordered. Yes, Hokage-sama. Kat answered and vanished. 5 minutes later the 10 ANBU that rotated to guard the civilian council knelt before the Hokage. Which one of you was on guard duty for the civilian council today? The Hokage asked. I was, Hokage-sama. Lizard answered. Good, then please explain me, Lizard, why would you leave your post to play messenger for the council? The Hokage asked. They ordered me to fetch Naruto Uzumaki for questioning because he poisoned the daughter of Counselor Haruno. Lizard answered. Lizard, do you know the chain of command? The Hokage asked the obviously stupid ANBU. Of course, Hokage-sama. Lizard said, not knowing what this was about. Others started seeing what the Hokage was up to. Then please inform me where in that chain the civilian council ranks. The Hokage asked. The council is directly under the Hokage. Lizard answered. Cat, please inform this stupid moron of the true chain of command. The Hokage said angrily. The civilian council is nowhere in the chain of command. The only part of the council that has commanding power is the ninja council. They rank under the Hokage, the Jonin commander, and the ANBU commander, meaning they would be in fourth rank of the chain of command, but only in times where the Hokage is absent from the village or in no condition to command the forces. Which would be in case of a severe illness or death. In case of an illness, the normal ninjas are under the command of the Jonin commander, which at the moment is Shikaku Nara. The ANBU are under the command of the ANBU commander, which is me. The ninja council is only consulted in case both Jonin commander and ANBU commander need more authority to get something done. Cat told them. Thank you, Cat. So, get it in your brains that the civilian council has no power to command any of my ninja. The only other orders you are to follow are those of Cat or if he isn't available too, the ninja council. I thought my ANBU would know that. So you will only guard the civilian council from the shadows and only one ANBU at a time. You won't make contact and won't follow any of their orders. Am I understood? The Hokage said. Yes, Hokage-sama. The ANBU answered. Dismissed. The Hokage said and the ANBU vanished. The Hokage rubbed his temples. This shouldn't even be an issue. He really needed to clean this mess up as soon as possible. Asami returned to the meeting room and told her fellow counselors the reaction of the Hokage. They were enraged, but realized there was nothing they could do at the moment. The Hokage had the power to deny them their request and could delegate the punishment of one of his ninjas, especially a genin, to said genin's Jonin sensei, and going up against Kakashi Hatake wasn't a smart thing to do. But they had thought Kakashi would listen to their orders. After all, he had followed them and passed his team. Sakura felt like her legs were made of lead. She couldn't feel them anymore. The resistance seal Kakashi-sensei had placed on her first thing in the morning was horrible. She felt like she couldn't move at all. This was not like wading through water, this was much harder. Thankfully they had a break now. She couldn't take another step. Sasuke was tired. The resistance seals were the real deal. No wonder that Naruto had become strong using them. But now that he was also using them, he would become that strong as well. It would take some time, but he knew the prize was worth it. He was getting closer to Itachi. He looked at his teammates and his sensei. Naruto didn't look any more tired than normal. But he was already used to working with this kind of seal. Kakashi, of course, was also doing well. He had been surprised that his sensei had joined them doing the exercises, but also pleased. It felt like they were all comrades to him, not only subordinates he had to train. Of course, Kakashi's training program was harder than theirs, but it was something to strive to get to. The worst part of the day was the morning run. He had felt so damnable slow with the seal. Especially when Kakashi and Naruto ran more laps than him and Sakura. He had been jealous of Naruto again, but he swallowed his feelings and told himself he would soon enough surpass his blonde teammate, and Naruto had even told him the key to learn using the seals faster. You had to strengthen your muscles with chakra. Once it felt normal again if you used chakra, you had to reduce the amount of chakra to get the same effect on your own. Well, except if you didn't train, then it would be best to just train your muscles without chakra. With the seals staying active for the next 2 weeks, he would see if that was true. Okay, that was enough of a break. Next part of our training is teamwork. Kakashi said. How are we going to do this, sensei? Naruto asked. We will do several exercises that will teach you to trust your teammates. Kakashi said. He took out 2 scarves and handed them to Sakura and Naruto. Tie them around your eyes. He instructed them. They did. Kakashi handed Sasuke a piece of wood and a small metal bar. Then he prepared some obstacles in a small round course. The intention of this test is to lead your teammates safely through the course, only using Morse code. You learn the code at the academy. Now you will Morse them where to go, what to be aware of, and so on. The only possibility they have to finish the course is following your instructions. No talking at all. Kakashi said. We will start with Naruto, then Sakura. Once you are finished, we will change places. I will change the course and we will repeat it until each of you went through the course twice and led the others once. Kakashi said. Sasuke nodded. He took the wood and the metal bar and began drumming his message to lead Naruto. It was harder than he thought it would be. He had to remember all the commands. And morsing words like left, right, forward, stop, and so on took more time than he thought they would. Thankfully, Naruto seemed to know the Morse code well enough to follow his commands without problem. Finally, Naruto was done. Now it was Sakura's turn. Sasuke began drumming again. Naruto took off his scarf and watched how Sakura fared. He had noticed some problems while he was in the course, and now by watching Sakura, the problems seemed even stronger. They needed shorter signals that weren't normal Morse code, especially as remembering all the Morse signals was a problem if you were pressed for time, which he guessed would be the next thing Kakashi would have them do. So he went through the Morse signals and decided what would be proper short signals to work with. Finally, Sakura, after misinterpreting the signals Sasuke gave her twice, was done with the course. Okay, next Sakura will give the signals and Naruto and Sasuke will do the course. Kakashi announced, and Sakura handed her scarf to Sasuke, blushing. Sasuke just took the scarf and tied it around his head. Naruto put his back on. Kakashi changed the course, and now Sakura was trying to get Sasuke through the course, which was a lot worse than the 2 tries Sasuke had with morsing. Sasuke ran into stones, tripped over logs, went too far to the left once, because Sakura wasn't fast enough with her signals. When Sasuke was finally finished, he was cursing. Naruto then went into the course, and after hitting a log, he always waited for Sakura to finish her signals. Once he heard new signals, he stopped to process the new information. It took horribly long, but he avoided further problems that way. Next is Naruto morsing. Kakashi said. Sasuke, Sakura, I will use 4 signals outside the normal Morse code. 4 long signals mean left, 4 short ones mean right. 1 short and 1 long signal mean forward. 1 long and 1 short means back, and 1 short signal, which will be louder than the rest, means stop. The others I will Morse with normal Morse code. He explained them. Sasuke nodded. After the disaster with Sakura leading him, that was sensible. Sakura grudgingly also nodded. She had hated being the worst in a discipline she should have been good at. But she hadn't thought to practice Morse code much in the academy. It was after all such an overcome method to send messages, and everybody could overhear them. Sakura was the first to go through the changed course now. Naruto's idea to shorten the commands was working well. She managed to get through the course with only making a mistake once, and then the stop signal prevented something happening. Sasuke then went through the course and was happy to notice that with Naruto giving the signals, he didn't get hit by obstacles once. He also noticed that he had to get used to differentiating left and right first, as they were so similar. When he came out of the course, he took off the scarf and turned to Naruto. Your idea with shortening the signals worked well, but we should think of 2 signals that are more different from each other for left and right. A different number of signals would be best. In the beginning it was a bit confusing to recognize short and long signals. Sasuke informed Naruto, "Okay, that makes sense. Perhaps left 2 short signals and right 4 short signals. As we stop after that signal, it can't be thought to be a complete message anyway, so it doesn't matter if it is also the signal for a letter." Naruto admitted, "Good, now I want to discuss the things you learned with this exercise." Kakashi said, having his team sit down. "We had to always concentrate to get the signals of the one morsing. And with the shorter signals it was easier to get it." Sakura said, "It takes practice to react accordingly to the signals. You can't rely on your own senses that much, as we normally rely on our eyes to navigate." Sasuke said, "Wrong signals can be dangerous. If a signal is too long and not correct, we hit the obstacles. Sometimes it was safer to go slowly than to hit something." Naruto said, "All those are correct. This exercise teaches you to always find the best possible way to fulfill an exercise. As you noticed, the shorter signals were easier to process. But even if you shorten them, you need to make them different enough to not get confused. We will practice with more signals in the future. I want you to make sure you are fluent in the signals the day after tomorrow. So if you are still a bit out of practice, I suggest you use the breaks tomorrow to read up on the code. Okay, now we will do something more physical again. Naruto, I need 20 shadow clones." Kakashi said. Naruto made the clones. "You really are abusing my ability to make them, sensei." Naruto grumbled a bit. "Well, tough luck. A ninja needs to use everything he has at his disposal, and for me that means sometimes using your shadow clone jutsu to get the necessary number of opponents for training exercises. And you know you don't even feel the drain of 20 clones." Kakashi said. "Okay. We are practicing dodging projectiles now. I will demonstrate it. Naruto, have your clones throw those rubber balls on me." Kakashi said, pointing at 2 bags full of red rubber balls the size of golf balls. "Gladly, sensei." Naruto said with a grin. The clones took position around Kakashi. "You can start in 20 seconds and keep it up for 5 minutes straight," Kakashi told the clones. They nodded and waited until the 20 seconds were up. Then they started pelting Kakashi with the balls. Kakashi dodged, jumped, deflected and spun out of the way of the balls. The only place on his body the balls ever hit was his hands. Then the 5 minutes were over. That's the exercise. You're only allowed to have the balls hit you on your hands to deflect them. In a fight you only have the possibility to deflect weapons that are thrown at you with kunai in your hands or by intercepting them with your own weapons. That will be part of a later exercise. For now, we'll only work on dodging and deflecting in a limited area. As you aren't as used to this kind of exercise as I am, you'll work with 10 shadow clones throwing balls at you each," Kakashi said. Naruto made 10 more clones, then the clones spread to surround the 3 genin. Naruto was used to doing this with higher numbers of clones, but it wouldn't be good to inform his teammates of that fact yet. Kakashi gave the signal to start, and had his genin practice dodging. In the evening at 8, Kakashi dismissed his team. He had Sasuke and Sakura continue their tree climbing while he took Naruto and played shogi with him. He was pleasantly surprised how well Naruto did with the strategy game. In the end, Kakashi managed to win, but the game was pretty evenly matched. Kakashi walked towards the Hokage tower to hand in his report for the day and to ask the Hokage about the incident with the civilian council calling Naruto in. He reached the office and knocked at the door. The Hokage, still working despite the late hour, called him in. "Ah, Kakashi? You had your team train long today?" The Hokage noticed. "Yes, Hokage-sama. I think it's best for now to keep them busy. And it seems Sasuke is happy enough to train the whole day. I have the impression he didn't feel challenged enough at the academy. Naruto will take some time to warm up to me, but he is doing well so far. Today I played shogi with him, while I had Sasuke and Sakura practice tree climbing. He is quite good in the game. I think he was really surprised when I told him that we would play shogi while the other 2 did their exercise. By the way, the civilian council sent an ANBU to us, calling Naruto to the council. I refused to follow the order, but you should take care of that," Kakashi said. "I already did and put them in their place. I think they will still try to get rid of Naruto in the future, but the ANBU have already been reminded that I am the one who gives orders in the village. Cat is having an eye on the ANBU now to make sure they won't follow the council's orders anymore. I have called Shikaku to have him brief the normal forces on the issue." The Hokage informed Kakashi. "That's good to know. It's high time the council was reminded of their real power, and not the one they think they have." Kakashi agreed. "Yes. I wish I could do more, but somehow the amount of paperwork I get doesn't let me," he complained. Kakashi had an idea. After seeing Naruto using the jutsu so much, he thought it would also help the Hokage. Why don't you use shadow clones? I mean, I know that Naruto used them for his training, and I have to admit I am abusing his ability to make them for training the others as well. With the memory transfer, they would be perfect to help you get the paperwork done much faster. Kakashi suggested. Shadow clones? The Hokage said, shocked. Damn it, why didn't I think of that earlier? That must be the secret how Minato always managed to get it done so fast. He raged. Well, Sensei did use that jutsu for many things. Kakashi admitted. From tomorrow on I will use it. I'm done for today. Screw the paperwork, the Hokage declared. Kakashi's sweat dropped. Perhaps it would be best to just leave the Hokage now. He didn't seem to be that sane at the moment, judging by the insane laugh he was sporting now. Chapter 8. The Hokage gets serious. The next day at 9, the Hokage arrived at his office, seeing that new amounts of paperwork had been placed on his desk. He grinned evilly and made 2 shadow clones, and now 3 Sandaime Hokages were sorting through the paperwork. What he found enraged him. Before, he hadn't really noticed just how many useless documents he got on his desk. This looked like a conspiracy. After 2 hours, he was sure. Many of those decrees the civilian council wanted to have signed were only meant to increase their wealth, and didn't help the village as a whole. Some that were slipped into his mountain of work were outright attempts to legally abuse Naruto, like the hot springs requesting to be able to deny people they think unsuited to use the premises entry, or the grocers asking to set taxes for their goods themselves. No, this would stop. The problem was that he had lost insight what was really happening in the village. But who could know the real circumstances? He had a second look at the documents that were the fishiest. He would have to check the laws and decrees that had already been passed without him really noticing. Then he had an idea. It would be a bit risky, but he would have the information he needed. Crow, get me Elder Danzo Shimura here, the Hokage ordered. Crow vanished from his post, and 10 minutes later it knocked at the door. Enter, the Hokage said. Danzo walked in, using his cane. You called me, Hokage-sama? Danzo asked. Yes, thanks for coming so promptly, Danzo. I have some things to discuss with you, the Hokage said, and activated the privacy seals. Danzo wondered what had happened to have Hiruzen so serious. Did he find out about his route? Improbable. He had erased his traces very well. So what could he want? Please take a seat, this will take some time, the Hokage said, and Danzo sat down. Just this morning I came upon a serious problem with the finances of the village. It seems that thanks to the amounts of paperwork I have to deal with daily, some decrees that deprive the village of funds have been passed. Sadly, I don't know yet how much money was displaced that way. We both know that the strength of our military depends on the proper funds. I have some suspicions where the funds went, but I need to investigate this without the culprits finding out about it. That's where you come in. I want you to take your route and find all the dirt the ones that embezzle our funds have hidden, the Hokage said. You know that you ordered me to disband route years ago, Hiruzen, Danzo said, now dropping the honorifics. And we both know that you ignored that order and only took your ninja and went underground. Don't think I am stupid, Danzo. I let you get away with it, because you and your route are useful for the village. As long as I officially disbanded you, nobody could say anything against it, and if your training methods wouldn't be so despicable, I wouldn't even have had to do it. But we always differed in our opinions there. Nonetheless, your route are a part of the military of Konoha. A well-hidden part, but it is still financed by the village. Danzo kept quiet. He wouldn't have thought that Hiruzen had known all the time. It seemed he had underestimated his old rival. What do you intend to do now? He asked. Oh, as long as you follow my orders, nothing. As I said, you are useful. But if you go against me, I will end you. Simple as that, the Hokage told Danzo. Why now of all times, Hiruzen? What has changed? Danzo asked. We both know that I am too old to be Hokage. I wanted to retire long ago, and thought that with Minato leading the village would be strong and still retain the will of fire. Sadly, he died sealing the QB away. I didn't really want to take back the hat, but did it because I saw it as my duty to protect the village. The same is true for you. You are the same age as I am. We both are not really suitable candidates for the position. We should only enjoy our retirement and give advice to the younger generation. But we both have still a duty we are fulfilling. I have called back Jiraiya to discuss with him my choice of successor, the Hokage informed Danzo. You want to make Jiraiya your successor? Danzo asked disbelievingly. Do you think that is wise? While he is strong enough to take the position, I don't think he would be a good administrator. No, Jiraiya wouldn't even want to be Hokage. And it would be a shame to let his spy network go to waste. I had considered Tsunade, but with her dislike for the village because of her losses in the past, I doubt she would return, even if she would be the best choice. No, I called Jiraiya back to get his opinion on the candidate I chose, the Hokage said. Are you going to tell me who you chose? Danzo asked, now interested, especially as he wondered why Hiruzen was informing him. They had always been at odds with their opinion how the village should be led. Can't you deduct it yourself? The Hokage asked. Danzo thought about it. He went over all the jonin of the village. There were only a few that were suited. The most probable candidate was Kakashi? Danzo asked. Yes. If you think about it, he is the only real option we have. He has orders to get back to his old strength. He also is tasked with taking care of our two most difficult new genin. He informed Danzo, Sasuke Uchiha, and Naruto Uzumaki. I already heard that the Uzumaki boy was hiding his true abilities. Impressive if you asked me, Danzo said. Indeed. Both boys don't have many ties that bind them to the village. Sadly, I haven't been able to really remedy that fact until they graduated from the academy. Now that they are ninja, I can correct the bad influence the civilian council had on them. I only hope that it isn't too late already. That's Kakashi's main task for now, but if I want Kakashi to take over for me once he is ready and his team has been promoted, I need to clean up the current mess as much as possible. Otherwise things wouldn't really change, and from Jiraiya's reports I know that things will get troubling sooner than I like. The Hokage said. Danzo had to agree. He knew from his own spies that there was a mercenary group that took many high-class missions for some of the other villages. They consisted of S-rank missing nins, but their goals were unknown so far. Then there was the new village Oto. He hadn't been able to find out much about it, and he had somewhat lost sight of Orochimaru after he had finished the surgery he had hired him for on his arm. Thankfully Hiruzen didn't seem to know about the Sharingans he had implanted in his eye and his arm. That wouldn't be tolerated in any way. So how do you want me to do this? Danzo asked. I will go through the laws that were passed myself with a few shadow clones over the next few days. I want you to send me 2 of your root agents that are skilled in administration. One will replace the current secretary, and one will go through the jungle of paperwork that is put on my desk each day. I only want him to sort it in categories that make the most sense. Before we can confront the ones responsible, we need to know the whole picture. I want 3 of your agents to go through the decrees that have been passed since Minato's death. They are to write them down chronologically. I will go through them as soon as they are done. 5 of your agents are to inspect the way business is done in the village without being seen. I have the suspicion that many businessmen are evading taxes. That and that they demand more taxes than what is legal. I know I have been too passive the past years, but I intend to rectify at least some of my mistakes before I let Kakashi take over. If everything goes well, I will announce him as my successor during the final round of the Chunin exams in 6 months. Normally, he should get his team ready to take them in the 6 months he has. The only shaky candidate is Sakura. I don't know if she will persevere in her choice of career. Kakashi has orders to put his team through the grinder, the Hokage said. That is a sound plan. In 6 months of constant training he should also be back to his past strength and perhaps have got to S-rank level. If I remember right, he was close when he quit ANBU. I will send my agents for the tower in 1 hour, Hiruzen, and send the ones for the village out as well. How do you want to organize the reporting? Danzo asked. I want your agents to report back to me in 3 days. They should have a first impression by then. I guess we will need 2 or 3 weeks to get all the documents checked. The Hokage sighed. Danzo nodded. It was good to see that the god of shinobi intended to go out with a last major strike. Team 7 stood in the mission office to get their first mission. Sakura was relieved to get a mission for a change. A mission meant that she wouldn't have to go through what she had dubbed Kakashi's training from hell. She had been sore every day of last week after training. The weekend had been training free for them, but Kakashi had given them homework. Thankfully it was all theory, but it would be tested during this week's training hours. She had to spend 5 hours reading up and practicing hand signals that were used by the Konoha military forces. These signals would be part of their teamwork exercises. And of course she had to practice a new chakra control exercise. Sticking 5 leaves to her arms. She had known how to do it with 1 leaf since the academy, but now Kakashi had told them they had to stick 5 leaves to their arms and keep them there 2 hours without losing them once. She had hated the exercise. She always lost control and had to start new. Why would it help them to be able to do that exercise, And she also hadn't had much time taking care of her body to impress Sasuke. Her hair was messier than ever before, her skin was losing some of its shine, and she got calluses on her hands. How should she ever get Sasuke this way? More, she couldn't stop herself from eating all the food Kakashi gave them, even if it was way too fat. She had tried to only eat a bit of it, but her stomach was betraying her. Her mother had promised her to take care of her lunchboxes from this week on. She would make sure she ate low-fat. The three genin listened to the Hokage when he told Kakashi the available missions. Sakura was glad. Most of those missions didn't sound that bad. Babysitting for the minister, weeding a garden for a council member, yes, she could do that. We take cleaning out the field of Mr. Takashima, Hokage-sama. Kakashi decided. Sakura wanted to cry. That was another hard exercise. And it was a bit outside of the village. Mr. Takashima had just started a farm 2 miles outside of Konoha. There would be no chance to rest and flirt with Sasuke from what she could tell. And she was sure Kakashi would make the way there another exercise. Alright, team. We won't need any special equipment. Any farming tools we might need will be at the farm. Let's go. Kakashi said and left the office. Naruto and Sasuke turned the cleaning of the field into a challenge. They would start on one side of the field and each had a clone of Naruto with them to take the waste which they pulled from the field. 5 other clones of Naruto would sort through their findings and sort them. The small stones would be put aside for a pond Mr. Takashima wanted to build later. The bigger ones would be used for walls to surround the property. Sticks and bigger branches would either be shredded later or burned. Some would perhaps be used as stabilizers for vegetable plants. That would be Mr. Takashima's decision. Sakura was also cleaning her part with a shadow clone taking care of getting the waste away, but she was way slower than the 2 boys. Sasuke wanted to prove that he could go the same pace as Naruto, and Naruto wanted to shove it into the Uchiha's face that there were people better than him. Kakashi watched the whole action amused. The competitiveness between Naruto and Sasuke would only end in the mission getting done faster. Perhaps he could get the team to 2 missions a day in a few weeks. But then again, his goal was taking only missions that wouldn't get his team in close contact with the villagers too much. Wow, your students are doing good work. I'm surprised they are that fast. Mr. Takashima said. Well, they are ninjas. They should be faster than civilians. And they don't even use their abilities besides Naruto making his shadow clones to assist. Kakashi answered. Are your 2 male students by any chance overly competitive? Mr. Takashima asked. A bit. But as long as it results in better work, I don't mind. Kakashi said. He looked at Sakura. The girl was already slowing down. Hey, Sakura, don't get slower. This is also meant as a strength-building exercise. He shouted to her. Sakura returned to her former pace. She was slowing down. Mr. Takashima asked surprised. Yes, she sometimes needs a good push to do her best, but we are working on that. Kakashi replied unconcerned. Mr. Takashima wondered about this, but then again, who could really understand how ninjas worked? After 4 hours the field was cleared of all things that would be in the way of farming. Wow, good work. I didn't think it would be done today. Mr. Takashima told the team happily. No problem, Mr. Takashima, that's our job. Kakashi said. I have some refreshments prepared for you and your team, Mr. Hataki. Mr. Takashima said. As a sign of my gratitude for the good and speedy work, that we'll gladly accept. Kakashi said. You heard Mr. Takashima. Wash your hands and then come over to get some snacks. Kakashi called out to his team. The 3 nodded and went to the hose to wash their dirty hands. Soon they were back with Kakashi. Well, Naruto and Sasuke were. Sakura needed a bit longer, being exhausted after 4 hours of constant hard work. Additionally, she had to deal with the effects of the gravity seals which made her slower. With her small reserves she had massive problems to keep the effects of the seals from influencing her too much. Mr. Takashima and his wife were presenting the genin with a plate of sushi each. My wife led a sushi restaurant before we came to Konoha from Water Country. Mr. Takashima explained. Why did you move? Sakura asked, eating gratefully. Well, in Water Country there is a civil war going on. The Mizukage, the leader of Kiri, has declared all those that possess a bloodline limit devils and responsible for the horrors of wars. They are hunted down mercilessly, but even we civilians are sometimes involved in the fights of the 2 sides, the one following the Mizukage and the one opposing him, who think that the bloodline limit users, who fought for Kiri in the past, shouldn't be persecuted. We didn't want to be killed in the middle of those fights and decided it would be safer to move here, Mrs. Takashima informed the genin. Sasuke was shocked. People who had a bloodline limit like his clan were hunted down in Water Country? But why? Normally the clans that had a bloodline limit were the strongest in a village's military. Like his clan had been. Their Sharingan had been praised in Konoha. Naruto silently ate his sushi. He could empathize with the rebels. Nobody would take being hunted down for something that had helped his village in the past. And what choice did those people have? They were just born like that. An ability wasn't evil in itself. It was how you used it. These are really good, Mrs. Takashima, Sakura said, not really getting the mood of her two teammates. Thanks, dear, Mrs. Takashima answered. The civilian council was at a loss how they had lost a good part of their power in such short a time. The Hokage seemingly had suddenly grown a backbone. He was keeping the ninjas that formerly had done their bidding under a firm watch. It had taken them a week to find out, but both the Jonin commander and the ANBU commander had given orders to all ninjas that the civilian council had no say in shinobi matters. They had no authority to order ninja to do anything. The Hokage, after all ninjas had been informed, even the new genin had been told the orders, had given them a warning to not try to usurp his power. Trying to usurp the Hokage's power was treason and would be handled accordingly. They had held a meeting to discuss their options, but soon realized that there was nothing they could do. The Hokage held the power of the military. They only had control over the civilian affairs as long as they didn't threaten the military strength of the village. That meant withholding service from shinobi in any way or sabotaging the goods sold to shinobi. They knew if they continued to treat the demon like he deserved to be treated, they would face the Hokage's wrath. After checking on the sales numbers of the past 3 years, they made a surprising discovery. The only things the demon brat had bought from them were the occasional fresh products like milk and eggs. Nothing else. How did the brat do that? As much as they tried to find out, they couldn't wrap their minds around it. The brat was the dead last of his class. A failure as a ninja. There should have been no way for him to manage that. In the shadows, Gazelle, the ANBU on duty, grinned under his mask. This promised to be interesting in the future. He was one of the ANBU that were more than tired of the arrogant behavior of the civilian council. Having them obsessed with trying to figure out how the so-called demon brat managed to trick them was indeed amusing. And from what Kakashi told about his team, the blonde was really good. After finishing their snack, Kakashi took his team back to the Hokage Tower to report about the mission. He had made his genin run the whole way back in a sprint. After all, 2 miles should be nothing for a ninja. Even a fresh genin should be able to do it. When they reached the gates, Sakura wanted to collapse. Her sensei was definitely a sadist. Team 7 reporting back from a D-rank mission. Kakashi informed the guards. Already? Didn't you have that field clearing mission? One of the Chunin asked. Yes, my team was just good in their time, Kakashi answered. Okay, we have noted you being back, the other Chunin said, and Kakashi led his team to the tower. Did you also have the impression that 2 of the 3 genin were about to collapse? One asked. Yes. The Uchiha is hiding it somewhat well, but the girl was really obvious. Strangely, Uzumaki didn't seem tired, the other answered. All ninjas had been briefed to not refer to Naruto by any derogative terms, so most just called him Uzumaki when they talked about him. I wouldn't think he would be tired after a sprint. Don't you remember how we had to hunt him down after one of his pranks? If he has practice in anything, then it is running at high speeds, the first one said, snorting. True, his partner replied. In the Hokage Tower, Kakashi instructed his genin to watch how he made his report, as they would be required to do it themselves in the near future. Team 7 back for report, Kakashi stated. The Chunin on duty nodded and took out a notepad for a short summary. Kakashi would later hand in a thorough written report about the performance of his team. After all, the Hokage just wanted to get an overview of the successfully fulfilled missions every day. Team 7 was tasked with clearing out the field of the newly moved in Takashima couple. Genins Harino, Uchiha, and Uzumaki took to clearing the field of stones, wood, and other waste, leaving the remains for shadow clones of Uzumaki to be sorted into categories for later use by the Takashimas. After 4 hours of work, the field was finished. Individual report on the performance of my genin will follow in my written report, Kakashi said. Good, the short report will be handed in to Hokage-sama, the Chunin confirmed. I have a question, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto asked. Yes, Naruto? Kakashi answered. Is there a possibility for a genin to take more D-rank missions outside of the ones a team does? He asked, looking at an immense amount of missions labeled D-rank. With the permission of Hokage-sama and the Jonin sensei of said genin, it is definitely possible. Why, are you interested? Kakashi asked. You know that I am an orphan and I need to earn money some way. This would be the easiest way for me to do it. I could give some missions to my shadow clones and let them do the missions while I am busy with our team's training. Naruto argued. If Hokage-sama agrees, I don't see any reason to not allow it as long as you do the missions properly. But I want you to keep it to 3 missions a day. I don't want you to be too tired from chakra exhaustion for your team training, Kakashi said. Naruto looked at Kakashi as if he was crazy. Sensei, chakra exhaustion is no problem for me and you know it. I would have to fire A-rank jutsus around for 5 hours in a row to get exhausted. And even then I would probably be up again after an hour of resting and eating, he said. Kakashi had to agree with the statement, but didn't comment. Naruto, don't brag with false abilities. You can't have that much chakra, Sakura scolded. No, Sakura, Naruto is right in his statement. He does have overly large chakra reserves. He has been born with them, and his training only increased them over time, Kakashi admonished her. He would have thought she was too tired to argue after all the hard work of today, but he can have more chakra than Sasuke. Sasuke was always the best and the strongest at the academy. She protested. Didn't you realize yet that I faked my abilities in the academy? I would have thought all the training sessions last week would have made that much clear. Sasuke has large reserves for a fresh genin, that's true, and compared to the others in our class he has the largest reserves, but he is nowhere near my level. Naruto set her straight. How big could your reserves be, idiot? She sneered. Kage level, Kakashi said, shocking both Sakura and Sasuke. Naruto's reserves are the biggest of anyone in the village. But large reserves alone don't make a good ninja. You need to have good control over your chakra too, and the experience from fighting opponents. Naruto nodded. He knew the only thing he really needed for a promotion to Chunin was said experience. He had the abilities and control without a doubt. But even he had to admit, he was getting better and stronger with Kakashi's intense training. Training on his own had given him a very good base to work with, but the teamwork exercises his sensei came up with helped him practice to really use the theoretical skills he had. It would be invaluable in the field. He knew the old man wouldn't promote him to Jonin straight away, but if he got the experience he needed in the next 6 months until the Chunin exams, only a natural catastrophe or something similar would be able to prevent his promotion. Kakashi dismissed his team with the reminder to be at the gates at 6 like the other mornings. The next morning Naruto got the information from Kakashi that the Hokage had agreed to let him do 3 additional D-rank missions a day as long as Naruto was not on a mission outside of the village at the time. Naruto made 10 clones and sent one of them to the mission office to get the missions for him. The idea was a spontaneous one. He knew that he had his parents' money that he would get as soon as he was declared the Namikaze and Uzumaki heir at the Chunin exams, and he also had a good amount of money from his trips into the Forest of Death after the last Chunin exams in there. But he also didn't want anybody to know about that, so him taking more D-rank solo would give him a good cover and more money. Thankfully, the payment was going to the mission office before it was transferred to the ninja's account. Around lunch, a Chunin arrived at the training ground. Kakashi, Naruto Uzumaki is to come to the Hokage's office immediately. Here is the order of Hokage-sama, he said. Kakashi checked the order and saw it was genuine. Naruto, you are wanted by Hokage-sama, he said to his genin. Naruto nodded and stopped his exercise. Once you are finished with whatever Hokage-sama wants, you are to come back to continue training, Kakashi ordered. Yes, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said and took off towards the tower. Okay. You two back to chakra control training, Kakashi said. Sakura groaned and Sasuke just continued training tree walking while sticking a leaf to each back of his hands with chakra. Naruto arrived at the tower and walked towards the Hokage's office. He looked at the secretary that surprisingly didn't glare at him. He had also never seen her before. I was called by Hokage-sama to come here immediately, Naruto said neutrally and handed her the note the Chunin had given Kakashi. I will see if Hokage-sama is available, the new secretary said. Soon Naruto was in the Hokage's office. Ah, Naruto, good that you came so fast, the Hokage greeted. Why did you want to see me, old man? Naruto asked. As nobody but the hidden ANB was in the room, he could treat the Hokage informal. 2 reasons. First, I have opened an account for you at the Shinobi Bank. While the civilian council has been warned that any sabotage of shinobi will be treated like treason, I doubt they will really fall in line. The Shinobi Bank is run by retired shinobi and under the direct control of the Hokage. All your payments will go to that account. Second, I wanted to talk to you about your expertise in Fuinjutsu. Yesterday our main supplier for seals died on a mission. As seals are a delicate topic, I can't just import pre-made seals from outside the village. Too much potential for sabotage. While some of our ninjas can make the basic seals for their needs, most of our forces just buy them at shinobi equipment shops or are given them from the armory if the mission requires them. The Hokage explained. So you want me to take over for the killed ninja? Naruto clarified. Yes, this would be treated as an ongoing secret B-rank mission for your file. You will be paid by the number of seals you made. The current payment for 20 explosive tags, for example, is 1,430 ryo. You will be given a list with the prices you will be paid for each kind of seal. If you supply other useful seals, we will decide on their prices accordingly. The Hokage said. Okay, but won't people protest if they know that I made those seals? I am not the most well-liked guy in the village after all, and many would accuse me of trying to kill them through faulty seals. Naruto said. That won't be a problem, because the seals will be distributed under the codename Dark Phoenix. The Hokage assured Naruto. Okay, that would work. What about the supplies to make the seals, and how many seals do you need right now? Naruto asked. The Hokage took a piece of paper and handed it to Naruto. Naruto looked over the seals that were needed. For the supplies, you can get the paper and ink at Jakanato's and put it on the village armory tab. Just use a henge when you get them. He handed him a permission document. Consider it done, old man. They will be ready tomorrow morning. Naruto said. So fast? The Hokage asked, surprised. Shadow clones. Naruto only said, grinning. Of course. Well, then I won't keep you from your training anymore, Naruto. The Hokage said. Naruto nodded and left the room. Outside the tower, he made a shadow clone and gave it the permission document, and let it go buying the supplies for the seals. He himself went back to his training ground. He informed Kakashi that he had got an ongoing mission for the Hokage to supply the village with seals. Keeping it a secret from his sensei wouldn't have made any sense, as Kakashi already knew about his identity and his real abilities. Chapter 9. Survival Training. That afternoon, Team 7 had to paint the walls of the new swimming hall of Konoha. And Kakashi insisted that they didn't use ladders to reach the higher parts of the walls, but used tree walking to do it. After 1.5 hours the walls were painted and Sakura, exhausted, with her small reserves sticking to one place at the wall, was really hard. She had hoped that they would be done with missions for today, but Kakashi had already got a follow-up mission. He had taken it as it was at the same place as the first mission. The pool needed to be tiled, so after a short break the genin started to tile the walls, starting on the bottom end of the walls. To Sasuke's surprise, Naruto was pretty skilled at doing it. It looked like he had done it before. Unknown to Sasuke and Sakura, Naruto was skilled in many crafts. He needed to be with the civilian craftsmen refusing to do any work for him. So Naruto started on the long sides of the pool. Sasuke and Sakura got the short sides. Naruto had a well-working system. He tiled as high as he could reach without a ladder, and then constructed a pulley from the ceiling to reach the higher parts of the wall without having to wait for the tile glue to dry. With him using 3 clones on his side and 4 on the other long side, it took him 3 hours to finish the tiling. Sasuke, who had seen the method Naruto used to get to the higher part, had copied it and was finishing about the same time. Sakura was only halfway done with her wall. As it was already 7 and Sakura looked ready to collapse, Kakashi asked Naruto to have 2 of his clones finish her side. Naruto nodded and took over the upper half of the side. When Naruto's clones were done, Kakashi informed the manager of the hall that the pool was tiled and only needed to have seams filled once the glue had dried. The manager checked the painted walls and the tiled pool and signed Kakashi's mission scrolls. Kakashi took his genin back to the tower and had them listen to the reports he gave about the missions. Okay, tomorrow you won't take a mission as we did today. Instead, I arranged for a sparring session with Team 10 in the afternoon. Kakashi informed them. Your morning training will still happen as usual. His body flickered away after that. The genin walked back to their homes. As it was late, not many people were on the streets, most were at home. Naruto walked to his secret home after making sure he wasn't followed. He went inside, made 2 clones, and went to the shower. His clones started making dinner. He still had the meat of 2 rabbits in his fridge, and his clones had harvested carrots and peas today from his field. They cooked some rice and prepared a sauce before putting everything on a plate. Naruto was just finished putting on fresh clothes when his dinner was ready. So he sat down to eat. Once he had finished his dinner, he put the plate and glass in the sink and made 100 shadow clones. They all knew their job and got the sealing supplies to start making the seals the Hokage had ordered. Naruto cleaned the plate and the glass, went to the bathroom to brush his teeth, and went to bed. His clones would stay up doing his work. Just after Team 7's normal morning run, Sasuke was at 3 laps around the village now. Sakura still had problems with her too, but Kakashi knew it would take time for the girl to make up for the training she hadn't done at the academy. Kakashi watched his students. He was curious if Sakura would pull through or quit. Both was possible. But if he didn't want to get her killed on a mission, the girl needed to be broken out of her fangirl attitude and delusions of how she could achieve to be a ninja. He was pretty sure her mother bore much of the fault for this. He knew Sakura's father had been one of the civilian casualties in the Kyuubi attack, and her mother blamed Naruto for that. She had been one of the cruelest members of the council, condemning Naruto to the treatment he had gone through as a child. Naruto had done 5 laps in the time Sasuke did 3. He himself had run 10 laps, being serious about getting to top form as soon as possible. He felt taking over the Hokage position would go a long way to help his sensei's son and also lead Obito's last living relative in the village on the right path. With the resistance seals he wore, his training was more intense. He had planned on asking Guy for sparring matches in a month or so. Before that time his team, besides Naruto wouldn't be ready. He had them continue with their stretching and physical exercises. Once they were done with that around 9, he called them together. Okay, team, for today I have planned some special exercises, Kakashi said, getting the attention of his team. He saw a calm wait and see expression on Naruto's face, a look of attention on Sasuke's with a spark of excitement in the black-haired boy's eyes and a suspicious and dreading one on Sakura's face. We will start your practical survival training. Sasuke, you asked if you would learn to hunt and fish. Well, today we will be doing just that. I will take you to a part of the woods where you will try to use the theoretical knowledge you got at the academy to catch your lunch. We will go over how to prepare the animals you get the best way and which plants go well with them, Kakashi said. He didn't want to exhaust his genin too much before the sparring matches with Asuma's team, but he didn't intend to make it easy for them. If they got a good lunch would solely depend on their success in hunting and fishing. It was an important lesson for a shinobi to learn after all. Kakashi led his team into a part of the forest 6 miles away from Konoha. Of course the ninja way, by taking to the treetops. He was content to see that his students were keeping up in formation. As he didn't go a very high speed to not lose Sakura, the boys were assimilating their speed. This formation was a standard one. He took point, Sasuke followed behind him, then Sakura and the end Naruto covered. It was normal for teams. If they were an experienced unit, the position Sakura had normally was the one of the team's medic, or generally weakest member. 2 strong members front to deflect attacks and the second strongest covering the back against sneak attacks from behind. In teams with Hyuga in them, they normally took the rear position as their Byakugan enabled them to perfectly cover the team's backs. After 10 minutes the team reached their destination. Naruto knew this part of the forest. He had hunted here before. Okay, I will give you a few hints to where you can find some prey. There is a river a bit to the southwest. So that would be the place where you can catch fish. Deer, rabbits, squirrels and birds can be found everywhere hidden in here. I first want to test your individual skills in this area. That means for once, you won't work as a team. After all, on missions this kind of task is normally divided between the members of the team. So you all get an hour to catch at least one animal or fish. If you don't manage that, think about ideas what to do about food for lunch, because you only get to eat what you find and catch here. I have taken the liberty to steal your lunchboxes. You will get them back after the sparring session with Team 10. So if you don't want to be hungry, I suggest you find food. I will observe you from the shadows, so don't expect to see me at all. Happy hunting, Kakashi said and disappeared. Naruto copied his movement and left the other 2 standing there. Sasuke got the idea that he only had 1 hour to catch something. After asking Kakashi if they would learn how to use the theoretical skills and seeing the way his sensei trained his team, he had made sure to read up on the techniques again. Now he was glad he had done so. He took off to the southwest. Catching fish would probably be the easiest way to get food. There were some ways to catch fish that didn't take much time. After 3 minutes, Sasuke reached the river. Thankfully it wasn't that big, so building a dam to intercept the fishes would work well enough. He looked for suited wood or stones and came to realize he would have to cut it from the trees mostly. Well, he was a ninja, so getting some branches down wouldn't be a problem. He quickly walked up a good-looking tree and cut 4 big branches. They wouldn't be enough to stop the water, but managed to keep the fishes in one position long enough for him to strike. 5 minutes later his quickly made dam was ready. Now he just had to wait. Thankfully Kakashi-sensei had been right and many fishes were coming his way. He stood in the water, keeping still until they were in reach and grabbed them, throwing them onto the shore. He made sure to throw them far enough so that they wouldn't be able to struggle back into the river. When he had 6 fishes, he walked out of the water and quickly killed the still-moving fishes with hits to their necks. He tied them together with a bit of ninja wire and then went looking for some plants he knew would be edible. He wanted to impress his sensei with his success. He was pretty sure Naruto would also do well in this test, but he didn't intend to fall back too much behind his teammate. Over the past week he had come to completely rethink his image of Naruto Uzumaki. The boy was nothing like he had given himself at the academy, and he wondered just why he had thought it necessary to play the idiot. Naruto wouldn't tell, so he had to find out on his own. But at least his fears to be held back by a weak team had been destroyed after seeing the kind of training Kakashi put them through. Not even the fangirl would be able to stay weak with how Kakashi put them through the grinder. Thank Kami for the old Uchiha bruises and muscle soreness remedies. He had looked through his clan's scrolls, which he had, and one had been about them. So the second evening after starting on Team 7, Sasuke had been busy mixing components for the salves. They were the only things keeping him functional. He came upon a hazel bush, and it was seasoned for the nuts. He put some shuriken from his pouch on his right leg into the pouch on his back to have space for the nuts. Nuts were good for energy and full of unsaturated fats. After collecting a good number of them, he looked for other plants. Just nuts and fish wouldn't be enough for a meal fitting Kakashi's standards for a good diet, after all. He came upon some berry bushes and had to improvise a transport container. Next time he would be ready for something like this. Probably realizing that he needed more variety in his equipment was also part of the exercise. It would be typical for Kakashi. Let his team make mistakes to avoid them in the future. He needed to look up better storage options. Just 2 pouches wouldn't do at all. Sakura was in a pinch. She wanted to catch some small animals, but they all noticed her before she could get close enough to hit them with a shuriken or kunai. Building traps had never been her forte and would take too much time. It was also too unsure to catch something in an hour. She didn't want to be embarrassed in front of Sasuke again. That had happened too often over the week. What other possibilities were there to get food if she couldn't catch animals? Edible plants, fruits, nuts, perhaps she could find some eggs. She knew the river was too far away to get there in time to catch fish. So she resigned herself to collecting as much as she could. Thankfully it was a good time for nuts and berries. Living in the land of fire had the advantage that they never really got winter. It was always mild, so the plants had 2 phases of bearing fruits. She found that transporting the things she wanted would mean carrying them with the front of her skirt pulled up. But as she had short leggings under it, it wouldn't matter that much. Once the hour was up, Kakashi reappeared in the meeting place. His students were already assembled there. Naruto was busy unsealing his spoils. He presented them with 3 rabbits, 2 pheasants, 1 chicken, obviously it had been lost in the forest, a box of berries, a box of nuts, a crate of apples, a box of mushrooms, and a wolf. What is the meaning of the wolf, Naruto? Kakashi asked curiously. The wolf thought I would be easy prey. I taught him better. As I already killed it, I decided I would keep it for the fur. The merchant caravan pays good prices for fur in a good condition. I regularly sell them the fur I get from the animals I catch. Mostly it's deer or rabbit though. After all, those are the animals I hunt mostly for my meals, Naruto explained. Why wouldn't you just buy the meat in a shop? Sakura asked stupidly. I won't give the shop owners any money that I don't need to give them, Naruto answered coldly. Sasuke put that information away as another part of the puzzle that was Naruto Uzumaki. He presented his collection. The 6 fishes, the nuts from his pouch, a handkerchief with berries and some leaves from a form of wild salad. Then it was Sakura's turn. She let the contents of her dress roll to the ground. There was an assortment of nuts, berries, some mushrooms, 3 eggs, a few plums and 3 apples. Okay, the good news is, none of you will have to go hungry. The bad news is that you still need to cook your meals, Kakashi announced. But before we start doing that, I would like to ask about your impressions of the task. While catching the fish by building a small dam to intercept them in the river was easy, I found that transporting smaller things like the berries and the nuts was complicated due to limited space. If I had to do a task like this on a mission for the whole team, the only thing I could easily provide would be the fish, as I can just tie it to a stick with wire, which makes for easy transport, Sasuke said. Kakashi nodded. He had observed each student either himself, or with a shadow clone. Sasuke's method of organizing food was solid, but could need some improvements. He would have a lesson about sealing scrolls next. Nothing better than addressing problems after the genin had spotted them themselves. Catching animals isn't easy. They have fine senses, and with a time restriction, building traps isn't that useful. As Sasuke said, transport is also an issue if you are not prepared for a task like this. Sakura said. At least she hadn't totally failed the exercise. Kakashi had told them if they couldn't catch anything, they would have to collect food. And with the eggs she at least got some proteins. Correct, that means we will have to work on your stealth. Naruto, as you obviously were the one best prepared for this task, please tell your teammates how you solved the task. Kakashi said. As I said, I have experience with hunting, so I know how to read animal tracks. I quickly found a clearing where the rabbits were grazing. I got close by sneaking up from above. I killed them with a Sandaime to the forehead. That damages the fur least if you don't have the time to use slings. Pheasants are pretty stupid, even if they are shy. A bit of corn in a place I could see in well, a bit of patience and again, Sandaime to the brain killed them good. The chicken was a coincidence. It just crossed my way and I used the same method like with the pheasants. I sealed the animals in sealing scrolls and took to collecting berries in a box, nuts in another, the same for the mushrooms, and as the apples were too big, I needed a crate. I have different containers in a sealing scroll which I always carry with me in case I need to transport something. Naruto explained. Kakashi nodded. That was a good summary how a ninja prepared for any mission. Where can I buy some sealing scrolls? Sasuke asked. I wouldn't be able to make them myself, so buying is my only option. He said. I recommend Jakunato's shop for shinobi equipment. Kakashi said. Genzo Jakunato is a retired shinobi and knows the needs of a ninja well. His goods are high quality and reasonably priced. Sasuke nodded, swearing next time he would be better prepared. But isn't Jakunato's more expensive than other civilian shops? Sakura asked. Her uncle had a shop that sold ninja gear after all. No, the problem with civilian suppliers is that in 95% of all cases the equipment they sell is of low quality, as they don't know how trying our job is on our clothes and weapons. You need a special mix of metal to get good kunai or shuriken that don't chip on their first use. It's even more important with swords and the like. While you were at the academy there was nothing wrong buying your supplies there as they were cheaper, but on real missions quality equipment can save your life. What would happen after all if an exploding tag doesn't work properly? Either you miss your target, or worse get killed. That's the reason Hokage-sama has few ninjutsu experts supplying the shops run by former shinobis with good seals. Kakashi explained. Sasuke nodded, making a note to visit Jakunato's in the near future. Sakura frowned. She hadn't thought that there would be such differences between a civilian shop and a shinobi shop. Naruto kept quiet. After all, he was the one that made the seals for the shinobi shops now. I haven't heard a lot about Fuinjutsu at the academy. If seals are so useful, why don't they teach them at the academy? Sakura asked. It's a difficult art to learn, which takes precision and a lot of study. True masters are really rare. Konoha has one acknowledged seal master at the moment, Jiraiya of the Sannin. The other seal master we had was the Sandaime Hokage. There are perhaps 6 seal experts in the village. I am one of them as I learned a lot about them from my sensei, Kakashi informed them. Who was your sensei, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked. Minato Namikaze, the Sandaime Hokage. Kakashi answered. Sakura looked impressed. Her sensei had been trained by the Sandaime himself. Sasuke mentally was very satisfied with the way things had played out for him. Having a student of the legendary Sandaime as his sensei would surely make him strong enough to kill Itachi. Naruto just smiled. The way Kakashi had worded his information concealed that there could be more seal masters. They were just not acknowledged. He would wait until Jiraiya came back. He really wanted to talk with the famous Sannin about his self-invented seals. But the Hokage had said it could take a month or more until he came back to the village. Okay, now that you have the food, you need to prepare it. One thing every ninja needs to know is how to disembowel animals and gut fish. I know you already know how to do it, Naruto. Have either of you done it before, Sasuke and Sakura? Kakashi asked. No, but I have seen how my mother got a fish once when I was 6. Sasuke said, looking sad at the mention of his mother. He missed her. Sakura just shook her head. This didn't look promising for her. And it would be disgusting to have to do it. Okay, Naruto, can I have the chicken for a demonstration? Kakashi asked. Sure. Naruto said and handed the dead bird to Kakashi. First you need to do is to pluck the feathers. Especially if you can use them for something like putting them in pillows or for rare birds, sell them. If you don't pluck a bird first, the feathers tend to get bloody and washing out blood is not that easy. With more valuable feathers that can ruin them. With chicken and goose feathers it's not that much of a problem. Next is bleeding out the bird. You cut off the head and hang them with the head down. That will take some time. For animals with fur you need to skin them and then bleed them out. Kakashi demonstrated his skill in quickly plucking all feathers out of the chicken and cutting off the head. He let it hang on a tree branch. For a fish things are different. What do you remember of the procedure, Sasuke? Kakashi asked. Well, first the fish is cut open opposite the top. Then you take out all the offal and depending on how you want to prepare the fish you either let the hide on or cut it away. I have been told in the field you mostly put the fish on sticks, which you roast over an open fire. Sasuke said. That's the way it is done. Try it with one of your fishes. Kakashi said. Sasuke took one fish and cut the underside open with a kunai. He took the offal out, looked through the cut if he had overlooked something and turned to Kakashi, who gave him a nice smile. Well done, Sasuke. Would you mind giving one fish to Sakura so she can also learn it? I think we will leave the rabbits and the other birds to Naruto as he knows how to do it, and I guess he wants to keep their furs for selling. Both Sasuke and Naruto nodded. Sakura looked at the fish, fighting with herself if she could really do this. But then her inner voice reminded her that Sasuke wouldn't be impressed with her if she couldn't even gut a fish. So she took her kunai and tried to imitate Sasuke's former performance. She was disgusted when she felt the offal in her hand. A lady shouldn't be forced to do things like this. But everything to impress her Sasuke. Meanwhile Naruto, with skill coming from long practice, skinned the rabbits, plucked the pheasants, and then let them bleed out. Once the blood was out, he took to disemboweling them. He collected the offal in a bowl and had a shadow clone carry them away. What are you going to do with the offal? Sakura asked, too disgusted with having to gut the fish to be overly mean to Naruto. Burying it far enough away so that predators don't come close to my camp. It's a habit I learned to follow after a few foxes turned up after my first hunt on rabbits. I lost a rabbit to them and barely managed to keep the second one safe. Naruto answered. He was now cutting 2 rabbits in small pieces and put them in a lidded box. The pheasants got the same treatment. The last rabbit got put on a pole for roasting over a fire. Do you want the chicken, Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked. If you don't mind. I wouldn't have to go hunting myself then. Kakashi said. Take it. I have enough with 1 rabbit and the other things I collected. Naruto answered. Kakashi thanked him and took to preparing the chicken. Once all of them had prepared their meals, Sasuke had decided to give Sakura a second fish. 4 were more than enough for him and he couldn't store the spare one. Kakashi had them set up campfires. He corrected them if they made mistakes, but otherwise he was busy with his own fire. What is the best way to start a campfire in an area that is safe enough to even light a fire? Kakashi asked. A weak fire jutsu. Naruto said. Correct. Why would a jutsu like Sasuke's great fireball be ill-suited? Kakashi asked. Because it is too flashy and too hot. Even in presumed safe terrain, a ninja has to keep his camp undetected if possible. And with a technique too hot you will burn the wood too fast and don't have enough time to roast your food. Which isn't much of a problem in areas like Konoha, which are surrounded by forested areas, but in other regions wood is limited, so you need to get the best possible result with the supplies you have. Sasuke answered, remembering that lesson. Indeed. There is a jutsu, one of the fire jutsus, that doesn't need the affinity for fire to be used. It was developed for situations like this, lighting a campfire. It doesn't work in a fight, there you need stronger jutsu, but here it's perfect. The hand seals are hare and tiger. Try it. If you don't get it in half an hour, I will light the fires, Kakashi said. Sasuke and Naruto had no problems with the jutsu. As Sasuke knew how to use fire jutsus already, this simple one was easy to perform. And Naruto had used that jutsu for years now. Sakura needed a few tries, but then even she got her fire started. Good work, everybody. Now we will prepare our meals. Think how you can best prepare the things you collected. After that, I guess it will be time for an early lunch. But as we are meeting Team 10 at 1:30 on their training ground, I guess that's good. Kakashi said. Every member of the team took to cooking their meal. After 30 minutes the fishes were done for Sasuke and Sakura, Naruto's rabbit, and Kakashi's chicken needed a while longer. Sakura had pierced her mushrooms on sticks and also roasted them. The eggs had been buried in the earth on one side of the fire, as she had no pot to cook them. The nuts and berries she ate like they were, as she did the apples and plums. Sasuke only had to roast his fishes, which looked a lot less mutilated than Sakura's, and the other things he ate like they were. Naruto had wrapped 2 apples and some mushrooms in aluminium foil and put them to bake in the heat. He had added a few herbs and spices and oil to his rabbit and the mushrooms. After cooking in the wild for so long, he knew what tasted good. He just had to make sure his rabbit was constantly kept covered in his mix. Once everything was cooked, he took the rabbit from the fire and got his wrap things from the heat. He had a metal claw for that sealed in his equipment scroll for cooking utensils. Soon all members of Team 7 were eating contently. Chapter 10, Team Sparring. Team 10 was not amused that their sensei had arranged for a sparring match with another team. Ino was annoying Shikamaru with her blabbing about impressing Sasuke and showing up Sakura. Just make sure you aren't too loud. You know how Naruto will react. Shikamaru warned her. Ino obviously remembered the incident at the academy well enough from the look on her face. Why are we even doing a sparring match with another team so early into our training? We didn't learn that much yet. Choji asked. You were just unlucky to be the first ones that will have those matches. Kurenai, Kakashi and I decided that it would be good for the developments of the rookie teams if we had them spar against each other regularly to get you all used to multiple fighting styles. Asuma explained. Once you have got more experience, we will probably also ask some older genin teams to be included. Troublesome, Shikamaru said. Then they saw Team 7 appear from the entrance of the training ground. Hello, Asuma. Kakashi greeted. Hello, Kakashi. It's really strange to see you nearly on time. Asuma replied. Well, you know how that is. So much to do with the team to get them up to snuff. No time to be properly late. Kakashi sighed. Asuma grinned. He knew Kakashi was ordered to be more punctual because he needed to get his 2 male students improved in the mental area. And that meant keeping them busy. He wondered just what pace Kakashi had set for his team. Okay, how do you want to do this? 3 against 3 or one-on-one fights? Asuma asked. I think for now one-on-one fights will work out better. It will take some time until they can work as a coherent unit. After all, they just trained a bit more than a week under us. Too little time to get them trained on team formations. Kakashi answered. Asuma had expected that. He would make sure the next match against Team 7 would be team fights. That was the strong area of his genin team. They drew the matches. Shikamaru had to fight Naruto, Choji Sasuke, and Ino Sakura. First Naruto and Shikamaru were up. What a drag. Shikamaru complained. Naruto decided to just go with taijutsu. Shikamaru was no match for his speed and he still needed to work on his shadow possession. Even if he got caught in it, Shikamaru couldn't hold it for long yet. When Asuma started the match, Naruto shot forward, always keeping an eye on the shadow. But as Shikamaru needed to be stationary for it to work, Naruto had the advantage. He quickly kept Shikamaru busy in a taijutsu match. Naruto was clearly superior in taijutsu and nailed Shikamaru to the ground with a kunai to his throat after a short time. I yield. Shikamaru hurried to say. Naruto nodded and helped Shikamaru back up. Geez, you were holding back even more than I already thought, Naruto. So troublesome, he said. Naruto just grinned and let the next 2 take his and Shikamaru's places. Sasuke won the match against Choji, though he noticed that the resistance seals slowed him down considerably compared to his former speed at the academy. It took him more work to defeat the physically strong Choji, as he didn't want to use harmful jutsus in a simple training spar against a boy who was weaker than him. He kept it to taijutsu and the basic 3 academy jutsus. Having trained under Kakashi had shown him the great possibilities of them, especially the replacement jutsu. Soon Choji got frustrated with Sasuke always switching places with logs, tree branches, stones and whatever else he thought useful. Finally Sasuke managed to tie Choji up in ninja wire and place a kunai at his throat. Is it my imagination or was Sasuke slower than at the academy? Shikamaru asked Ino. No, he was slower, I just wonder why. She answered. Part of our training. Naruto said. So he is wearing weights? Shikamaru asked. No, resistance seals. They work similar, but strengthen the whole body without adding additional weight, which wouldn't be good for a growing body. Weights are mostly used by taijutsu specialists, as they need much muscle power for their attacks. Naruto answered. Are you all wearing them? Ino asked. Yes. Kakashi-sensei made sure we all used them the second day of our training. Naruto said, not giving out too much information. Then Ino stood up and faced Sakura. She was sure she could beat her, especially if she was slower than before thanks to the seals Naruto spoke about. What followed was a surprise for Ino and Sakura. While the pinkette had mostly stood in the shadow of the blonde in the past and tried to show her up in the fight over Sasuke, Ino had had the advantage of clan training. Now, even if she was slower than before, Sakura found it was easier for her to react to Ino's attacks. She wasn't good enough in taijutsu yet. After all, she had only trained a week under Kakashi-sensei, but she noticed improvement. In the end, Ino tricked Sakura with a replacement jutsu and hit her with shuriken in the arm from behind. The resulting short lapse in concentration was enough for the blonde girl to secure her win. Both senseis had watched their students intently, memorizing the points where they needed to improve their students. Okay, take 10 minutes break, Kakashi and I will discuss a few things and then return, Asuma said. Sakura let out a relieved breath. Hey, forehead too weak to stand ninja training? Ino asked, mocking. You don't have any clue how much training I have already done today, and today was a fairly easy one. Sakura shot back. Oh, did you have to run a few laps around the training field and do a few exercises? Ino continued, knowing that physical exercises were a weakness of Sakura. This was such a good opportunity to show Sasuke how much better she was than Forehead Girl. Just so you know, Ino Pig. Our team starts training at 6 in the morning. We have to run laps around the village while we are wearing resistance seals that make you feel like wading through water the whole day. Then we have to do physical exercises for 2 hours before we can eat a small snack. Then follows whatever Kakashi-sensei has thought up for that day, and it is always hard work. Even today, when we worked on survival techniques, I had to gut 2 fishes that Sasuke caught. Otherwise I would only have had some berries, nuts, eggs, mushrooms and apples for lunch. Sakura loved rubbing into her rival's face that she had got fishes that Sasuke had caught. So what? That's normal for a ninja to know. My mom taught me how to gut fishes that Dad caught on some trips with his old teammates when I was 9. I also know how to cook the fish so that it tastes great. Ino replied, scoffing. And if you start that early, you only have more free time in the afternoons. What's so hard about that? That we don't have the afternoons free. We never finish before 6, mostly it's later, especially now with the missions. We do one each day. Today is an exception because we had this sparring session with your team, which my team was better in than yours. And I only lost to you, because the resistance seals made me slower. Sakura stated. You wouldn't have a chance against me even if they were off. Why don't we prove that right now? Ino challenged Sakura. I can't. Kakashi-sensei is the only one who can release them at the moment. He says until we go on C-rank missions outside the village he won't let us have control over our seals. The only one who can turn them on or off on his own is Naruto, but he had them before our team was even built. I don't know why. He is just trying to look better than Sasuke. She complained. Shikamaru heard what Sakura had said and put it into his file of clues about the blonde. What exactly had Naruto done to train during his academy time? The image of the talentless idiot was made up to throw somebody off. But whom? Naruto just ignored the complaints his so-called teammate brought up with Ino. Both needed to realize that being a ninja was no game. You could die on a mission. Even a C rank if you weren't prepared. After all, even bandits knew how to use poison, and if they got close enough, or just mixed it under the food in a restaurant, things were over. It was improbable, but still possible. And if the girls didn't improve their fighting abilities, the occasional rogue ninja that led bandits could be a massive problem for them if they were ever separated from their teams or had bad luck in a fight. It had happened often enough in the past, and the things bandits did to girls were sometimes worse than death. Kakashi and Asuma returned and gave their students comments on their fights and where they needed to improve. To the horror of Team 10, Asuma announced that in 3 weeks they would also get resistance seals to train their physical strength. Why then and not now? Choji asked. Because I first want you to have learned to properly work as a team and get you up to speed in the basics. If you know the moves, you can then retrain your skill easier when you get the seals. Asuma said. But why did Kakashi-sensei then have us train with them from the second day? Sakura asked. Asuma's way to do things was making much more sense to her, because I have a different way to train my genin team and we have a different focus. I think you all need to build up strength. Well, Naruto not so much as he has trained like that before becoming a genin. But you and Sasuke had more than enough room for improvement in the strength area, and if you are used to the increased difficulty of training, missions will be easier for you. Kakashi said. That and I need to break you and Sasuke out of your bad habits. He mentally added. Sakura just thought her sensei was a sadist. Her fangirl and damsel in distress mentality still was resisting being broken. So next week you are going up against Kurenai's team? Asuma asked Kakashi. Yes, after that we have a break from the sparring matches. I will just have them take missions then. Until the end of the month I intend to have them done around 20 D ranks. After that, if all went well, they should be ready for C ranks. Kakashi replied, having Naruto and Sasuke perked up at the prospect of doing C ranks after only a month being genin. Ambitious, aren't you, Kakashi? Asuma asked. Perhaps a bit, but you know that C ranks only involve bandits, and the like if any. Mostly they are pretty boring and only are C-ranked because they have the genin outside the village for a certain time frame. Kakashi reminded him. Asuma nodded. It was true, most C ranks were messenger jobs, escorting merchants, delivery jobs that needed to be done by faster methods than a civilian could manage, some low-profile guard duty, things like that. And with Kakashi being there, normally there would be no risk for his team. Kakashi turned to his genin. We are returning to our training ground and will do advanced tree climbing for the next hours, he informed them. They nodded and stood up from the ground. What is advanced tree climbing, Asuma-sensei? Ino asked, not having heard of climbing on trees being a ninja training exercise. I only know normal tree climbing. It's an exercise to learn to control your chakra better to fight more effectively. You'll also learn that soon. I guess Kakashi has thought up his own version to make it more difficult, Asuma answered. Sakura shuddered. Her sensei's ideas of training exercises bordered on insane in her eyes. There are so many beautiful ways to make the exercise more difficult. I have them climb trees while sticking a leaf to each hand, for example. But today we will practice the version where you have to ignore disturbances from outside, Kakashi told his students, smiling, which means Naruto's clones get to pepper us with rubber balls again. Sasuke translated, sighing, determined to get the better of Naruto's clones this time. Be glad that Kakashi-sensei keeps it at rubber balls. We could also do the same with senbons, Naruto said, grinning evilly. You are crazy, you know that, Naruto? Sasuke asked. Only a little bit, nothing to be worried about. All ninjas have to be a little crazy to survive in this job. The blonde played it down. The whole team is crazy, thought the genin of Team 10. Well, we are on our way then, until next time, Asuma. And that makes 2 victories for me and 1 for you, Kakashi told Asuma while leaving. The only thing that counts is the end result. The bet is for the whole time until the next Chunin exams, Asuma countered, and I am sure I will win, the silver-haired Jonin replied. When Team 7 had left, Shikamaru turned to his sensei. What kind of bet is that? He asked. Oh, just whose team will win the most fights with another team. The ones in the bet are Kurenai, Kakashi and I. The winner gets the pot of 15,000 ryo, Asuma said. So I intend to win. And how would that work? If you didn't notice, Naruto is clearly beyond genin level. I would guess from his speed and how hard he hit he is high Chunin level, and if Kakashi-sensei is really training Team 7 like that, I don't see either us or Team 8 winning against Naruto or Sasuke. Shikamaru demanded to know. But there you are mistaken. Only the first fights will matter in that way. We will also have team matches, and there it matters that all members of a team solve the given task together. And face it, Kakashi has 2 strong individual fighters in Naruto and Sasuke, but no teamwork. And Sakura isn't their level. If she constantly loses her fights, it will also cost Kakashi points. This is completely open for now, Asuma assured them. Does that mean you will also make us do some crazy training? Ino asked. I will up your training, that's for sure, but I don't like overwhelming fresh genin from the start. The first month is to get used to ninja life, after that things will get harder, he informed them. Meanwhile, on training ground 8, Kurenai was copying Kakashi's idea of keeping her team busy. She knew Hinata was ridiculed by her clan for her shyness and her problems with learning Gentle Fist. If only she had more of an idea about the style, but taijutsu and especially secret clan techniques were not her forte. She was a genjutsu specialist. Shino needed to get more contact with others and learn how to open up more. His teammates needed to be able to have an idea how he worked. Kiba needed to get over his brashness, which was somewhat typical for his clan. All 3 were talented, and she didn't doubt they would be ready for the Chunin exams in 6 months. Okay, team, I have something to tell you, she said. Hinata, Shino, and Kiba sat down around her. As you perhaps know, 3 of the 9 teams of your year have passed the genin tests of their Jonin senseis. You, Team 10 under Asuma Sarutobi, and Team 7 under Kakashi Hatake. Now Asuma, Kakashi and I decided that to improve all our students' fighting skills and other abilities that are important for ninjas, we will have you compete with the other teams. This month will be one-on-one fights against the members of the other teams. After that we will have other tasks which will be decided later. Next week we have a match against Team 7, the week after that we will face Team 10. Today Team 7 and 10 have their match, she told them. Shino took the information stoically. Kiba was excited at the prospect to show his strength, and Hinata hoped she wouldn't embarrass her team. During all of this, we Jonin senseis have a bet going on. The Jonin whose team collects most points over the period of 6 months will win 15,000 ryo. We all placed 5,000 in the pot. If you manage to win the pot for me, I will invite you to a great celebratory dinner. I want to prove to Kakashi and Asuma that a team specialized in tracking can be as strong as any other team. She said, "Count on us, Kurenai-sensei. We will make sure you win your bet." Kiba loudly exclaimed, "Don't be too sure of our abilities. We are good, but it will depend on the tasks we will get how well we can do." "Why, you ask?" "Team 7 has the 2 top genin of our class in it," Shino said. "Sakura wasn't top of the class." Kiba protested, "Not Sakura, Naruto. If you didn't notice, he faked his idiocy and his bad grades. Naruto is the most dangerous opponent of all the new genin," Shino stated. "No way, he was the dead last. I will give you that his show with shutting up Sakura and Ino with senbons and poisons was cool, but you don't really think he was a good fighter." Kiba protested, "And no, Kiba. Naruto is as strong. He has more chakra T than even Kurenai-sensei," Hinata said. Kiba looked at her disbelievingly. "You can't be serious, Hinata," he said. Hinata nodded. "Damn, how can he have more chakra than a jonin?" Kiba asked indigenous. "Naruto is a special case," Kurenai only said. Shino nodded. He had asked his father after graduating why Naruto had so much chakra, but he was told it was classified information. Something was odd about his old classmate, and he would find out what it was. Chapter 11. Ups and Downs of Training. Over the next week, Kakashi kept his team busy and mostly out of the sight of the villagers. The only things anybody heard were from stories Counselor Harino spread, those that her daughter told her. That was if Sakura wasn't too tired to do more than showering, eating and falling into her bed. It was one point the loud counselor was complaining about, the inhuman training her daughter was forced to do. Isami Haruno was not happy that her little princess, who was meant to become the wife of the last Uchiho and bring her family more power through said marriage, was doing that kind of training. It would disfigure her beautiful body. She would get calluses on her soft hands, which would push any man away. Her shiny silky hair didn't get the necessary care, and was losing its silkiness. But she had to stay on the team to prevent any other girls from stealing the boy for themselves. And then there was the fact that her little girl was always forced to be in company of the demon. But all her complaints with the Hokage had been ignored. The only way that he would change the teams would be after the Chunin exams if Kakashi nominated his team for them. The teams were made for good reasons. Normally she and her fellow civilian counselors would have done something to sabotage the demon, but for some reason the Hokage now kept a stricter eye on them and had taken away their ability to command ninjas to do their bidding. No ninja would listen to them, citing they weren't part of the chain of command. And yesterday they had been called in for a meeting of both parts of the council with the Hokage. It hadn't been a nice meeting. The Hokage had taken away their responsibility for the ninja academy. His reasoning was that the academy was part of the military, run by teachers that were ninja. The future ninjas of the village were taught there, and therefore the curriculum was the responsibility of the military, not the civilian council. So now the Shinobi Council was tasked with proposing a new curriculum as the graduation results in the last 3 years had been abysmal. Only teams that consisted of mostly clan children passed the tests of their Jonin senseis, and most tests were reasonably leveled for a team to have a chance to pass them. That only 33% on average passed those tests was alarming and wouldn't be accepted anymore. The villagers that requested genin teams for jobs, hoping to get to see the last Uchiha, were disappointed. All jobs like weeding gardens, babysitting, grocery shopping and walking dogs were done by teams 8 and 10. It wasn't that team 7 didn't do any missions. Kakashi just selected the physically most demanding ones and the ones outside the village walls. One of his favorites was catching Tora. So far Team 7 had chased the cat 3 times in 2 weeks. Some jobs like painting fences, repairing roofs after bad weather, painting houses and the like, jobs that required handicraft skills in general, were done by groups of shadow clones of Naruto Uzumaki. Many had questioned why he did those missions without his team and got the answer that he didn't have clan funds to fall back on or a family to help him pay his bills, so he had asked the Hokage to do a few more D-rank missions to earn more money. With the newer residents of the village, those that had moved here after the Uchiha massacre, the boy was fairly well liked. They had heard about his pranks and his disrespect to everybody, but were surprised about the image they now got after meeting the boy in person. While he was distant, he was perfectly polite and did his jobs well. The older villagers tried to demand other genins to take the missions they handed in, but the mission office told them to either accept who they got sent or do the work themselves. Many then just glared at Naruto and his clones, but Naruto had too much experience with dealing with hateful villagers to react to it anymore. The Hokage had ordered the ones working at the mission office to not give in to any demands regarding complaints about Naruto taking missions. Additionally, a chunin that the Hokage trusted absolutely was to inspect the missions once Naruto was done to avoid hateful civilians cheating on the money for well-done jobs. As the village had too many D-rank missions to do all the time, he didn't want to lose the one genin that did more than requested voluntarily. And with so many D-ranks getting done, the village also earned more money. With time, the chunin at the mission office got used to the blonde and started treating him better. There always were those that couldn't get over their long-standing grudges, but their numbers were falling. It didn't really mean the number of people that liked Naruto got bigger, but many stopped disliking him. He was a genin, doing his missions for the village properly, and he didn't even complain once about his missions. That alone was earning him respect. The kind of training Kakashi was putting his team and himself through was also spreading in the ranks. Guy had been ecstatic that his eternal rival was finally embracing his flames of youth again, and had stopped with his tardiness. The more reliable information came from Asuma though, who had an idea what Kakashi was doing with his team. Many were astonished that he had put his genin under resistance seals and had them work the whole day on training and missions. Those in the mission office knew that most missions Kakashi had his team do were physically demanding, and he seemed to take sadistic pleasure in having them hunt Tora. On Monday morning, after their laps and their normal exercises, Kakashi deactivated the resistance seals on Sasuke and Sakura. They needed to get used to their new speed and strength regularly, or they would have problems if they ever deactivated their seals in a fight. Sasuke was testing his new speed amazed. This was fantastic. He felt light like a feather. And this was the effect after only 2 weeks of working out with the seals. What would he be able to do after 6 months? Sakura was equally astonished. Her speed had also increased, even if not to the same level as Sasuke's. But she felt problems with coordinating her limbs. The higher speed required her to move differently. She had to move her legs faster to control her movements. She could also lift the weights easier and managed more weight as well. Naruto had kept his seals activated. If he really deactivated them, he would probably be subject of a new wave of jealousy from Sasuke. If he was required to give a demonstration, he could reduce their level back down to level 4. It would still mean a huge difference. He would see if he could have a sparring match against Kakashi at full speed sometime soon when the other two weren't present. The day was a revelation and also an encouragement for the genin of Team 7. Kakashi knew he had to have them experience the results of their hard work to keep them motivated. Well, at least that was true for Sasuke and Sakura. Naruto knew why he worked hard and was way above the other two in skills already. He hoped at the end of the month he really could take his team on C ranks. He wasn't concerned for Sasuke. He would be ready without question. But Sakura had to accept that there was no way she could survive as a ninja another way than his training. Team 7 was a combat unit. Naruto and Sasuke the heavy hitters and Sakura the support, and, if she worked on it, genjutsu user. Combat teams got more dangerous missions than capture and interrogation specialists like Team 10, or trackers like Team 8. Okay, team. Now that you have got used to your new abilities a bit, we will speed up your acclimation with them some. Meaning fast movements on a moment's notice. Naruto, I need 100 clones. Kakashi said. Sakura paled. 100 of those infernal clones? What had Kakashi-sensei planned? Naruto just made the hand seal and created the clones Kakashi wanted. I want you to split in 5 teams. One team of 10 is going to the area where we hunted before and get us a few rabbits and apples for lunch. The second and third team of 15 are going to pelt Sakura and Sasuke with rubber balls to get them used to their new speed and how to control their new strength. 25 will do the same with Naruto, and the last 35 are working with me with senbons. But not the poisoned ones. Kakashi instructed. The same rules as always, only deflecting the balls with your hands, otherwise dodging. The clones nodded and separated in teams with 10 taking off into the woods outside the village to get food. It was nice of Kakashi to give them the opportunity to collect a few more furs. The caravan was due in a week again, and he could earn a good amount of money with the furs, and the caravan was his favorite place to get some unusual weapons and more outfits. While Jakinato's was great for his normal needs, there was a merchant with the caravan that sold weapons from Iron Country and one from River Country, where a guild of ninja tailors was living in a village whose clothes were simply amazing. Their clothes were made of chakra-conductive threads and accordingly expensive. Therefore, he needed to save the money for a very special piece of clothing. His father had theorized it in his journal, but never had the time to test it completely. Naruto wanted to have a cape like his father's, in colors of his liking, which would allow him to place seals on that would enable him to fly. His wind manipulation was advanced enough to channel wind chakra, though such a material. He had worked out the seals. He now just needed the cape. He had placed his order 6 months ago, when the caravan had been here last, and the merchant had assured him the cape would be ready when they returned. With all the money from the D-rank missions, the fur, hides and feathers sales, his collection of money from the now dead participants of the Chunin exams and his normal income, he wouldn't have any problems to get everything he wanted. There was also one merchant that traded with spices. Naruto liked to have a variety of tastes with his meals. If he could get away with it, he wouldn't buy anything with the civilian stores, but for eggs and milk he didn't have a choice. Well, perhaps in the future, if the Takashimas held cows and chickens, he could get them there. Team 8 was waiting for Team 7 on their training ground. Kurenai had expected for Kakashi's team to be here, but was surprised to find them away with a note that the team would return at 2 for the sparring matches. Now it was 5 minutes before that time. Well, she would have to wait. 1 minute before the planned time, Kakashi appeared in a body flicker. Hello Kurenai, good to see you and your team are already here. My team should also arrive any moment. I am having them train sealless replacement. I just need to place the logs in place. Kakashi said, unsealed 3 logs and placed them on the ground. The first to appear was Naruto, who didn't look like this exercise was very hard. 2 minutes later Sasuke appeared. Sakura didn't get it done sealless, but didn't want to have Team 8 waiting any longer and used the jutsu with seals but nearly no smoke. We will train that more in the future, and it will be your homework for the weekend to get at least 1 sealless replacement jutsu working. Kakashi told her. Yes, Kakashi-sensei. She answered, hating that he made her look bad in front of Sasuke. Okay, did you inform your team about the process, Kurenai? Kakashi asked. Yes, I told them last week. They are eager to find out how far they have come so far. She answered. Okay, I guess then we start with drawing matches. Kakashi said and held out a tin with 3 papers in it. He had Team 8 draw first, then his team followed. Shino and Sakura got the 1, Naruto and Hinata the 2 and Sasuke and Kiba the 3. Okay. First match, Shino vs Sakura, match 2 Hinata vs Naruto and match 3 Kiba vs Sasuke. Shino, Sakura, you have the field. Kurenai said. The other 4 sat down on the side. Hinata was close to fainting. Why in the world did she have to fight Naruto? She didn't want to have to fight against him. Don't hold anything back in our fight. Don't worry about me. I can take all you can throw at me, Hinata. This is meant to see what we should work on in our training. I know you don't like hurting people, but if you hold back on your comrades in training spars, they don't get the feeling for a real fight, and it could lead to them getting careless in the field. You don't have to target vital areas in training, but target non-vital areas and let your teammates feel how much your taijutsu style can hurt. They will be more careful in your next spar. Naruto told Hinata. Hinata was shocked. She never had thought that her holding back because she didn't want to hurt people was hurting them more for the future. She didn't have much time to dwell on the thought though, because Shino had taken out Sakura extremely fast. She had run screaming from his bugs until they had shut her up by sucking out her chakra. Kakashi, please tell me you are working on her bad habits. Kurenai begged. I am. I have my team training the whole days. But I have to agree that was simply embarrassing. Kakashi said, sweat dropping. If Sakura continued like that, his team would lose points for her continued losses, even if Sasuke and Naruto won. Well, for the first month he was safe from that part of the bet. Then Naruto and Hinata took their positions. Naruto decided to go with the Namikaze style as the Hyuga's gentle fist style required a style based on speed to counter it properly. He also was best using his Bastardes version of the gentle fist with the cheetah style of his father's clan. Hinata obviously tried to hit him, and was more determined than Kurenai had seen her before. She should have seen that Hinata's problem was that she didn't want to hurt others. Naruto's simple words had helped her seeing a problem and got her working on overcoming it. It wasn't perfect yet, that would need more time. Hinata still hesitated using her full power with the strikes, but she at least used the chakra when she hit Naruto. But in the end Naruto was simply too fast. He disabled Hinata's legs with quick simultaneous strikes and she fell down, which he used to get behind her and hold a kunai to her throat. When he was declared winner, he helped Hinata up again. How do you know gentle fist? Hinata asked, confused that somebody outside her clan could use one of their techniques. I don't use the gentle fist. My style is a combination of a taijutsu style and a Bastardes form of chakra scalpels like medic needs use. I guess the principle behind my chakra scalpel bastardization and the chakra shots of the gentle fist is similar enough, but I only can attack anatomy. I can't use it like a Hyuga to attack the chakra network, Naruto explained. Then he seemed to sink in thought. Sasuke and Kiba took their positions for their fight. Naruto looked at Kurenai. Kurenai-sensei, did you already test your team for their elemental affinities? Naruto asked. No, I didn't. I think that is a bit early. Why do you ask? Kurenai asked while still keeping an eye on Kiba's and Sasuke's fight. I have the feeling something is off about Hinata's taijutsu. I know that some taijutsu styles have been developed to suit a certain group of elemental users, like the strong fist for lightning elementals. Lightning is an explosive and fast element, just like that style. I have the feeling from the forms Hinata showed that the gentle fist could be based on earth users. But Hinata doesn't seem to be an earth user and therefore had problems. Naruto said. He knew the gentle fist was an earth style. It had been in the scrolls he had taken from the rubbish bins and copied for his selection, but nobody could know that. Better they believed he had got the idea from watching. Kurenai was shocked. That sounded like a more than probable theory why Hinata couldn't seem to get a grip of the gentle fist style. Water was weak against earth in the elemental circle. So if Naruto was right and Hinata was a water elemental, she needed to adapt her taijutsu to get it to work for her. Naruto could have a point there. I know from Guy that the gentle fist is indeed an earth style. You should test your students for their elements, and if Hinata is indeed a water elemental or has another element that disrupts the gentle fist by its nature, you should work with her on her own style. You are a water element, aren't you? Kakashi asked Kurenai. Yes, I am. I will take the suggestion and take them to Jakunato's after the sparring is over. Thanks for the insight, Naruto. I was aware that something was off, but as I am not a taijutsu specialist, I didn't know what could be done to help Hinata. Kurenai said. No problem. Naruto said. Yes, thank you, and Naruto. Hinata said. Naruto smiled at her, making her face take a very deep red color. Hinata, are you okay? Your face is so red. Naruto asked, putting his hand on her forehead to see if she had a fever. The contact and the concern Naruto showed her was too much for Hinata, and she fainted. Hinata? Hinata! Naruto exclaimed concerned. Kurenai-sensei, Hinata needs a medic. He said. Don't worry, Naruto, she will be better soon. Kurenai said, finding it quite funny that a smart boy like Naruto had no idea how much Hinata liked him. Sasuke had some problems with Kiba's feral fighting style, but thanks to his speed with the replacement jutsu he didn't get hit often and managed to tire Kiba out. In the end he won by nailing Kiba with some shuriken to the ground for a few seconds, tying Akamaru up with ninja wire in those seconds and using the dog as leverage to make Kiba forfeit. Shit, you are really fast. Sasuke commented Kiba's performance, and you continually replacing yourself with things is extremely annoying. Just you wait, next time I will win. Kiba said, disgruntled that he had been forced to forfeit, but Akamaru was more important than a victory in a training match. And with the way Sasuke had tied his dog up, getting him a power boost by food pills wasn't a good option. In your dreams? Sasuke said. Sakura was still out cold, so Kakashi decided it would be a good decision to bring her home and give Sasuke the afternoon off. Sasuke gladly accepted his free afternoon, and after hearing Team 8 would go to Jakunato's to get some chakra paper to test the genin's elemental affinities, he just accompanied them, intending to get some sealing scrolls and look what else was offered there. He would be better prepared in the future for whatever ideas for exercises Kakashi got next. Kakashi-sensei, do you have time for me to test how much I can do in a fight with my resistance seals released? Naruto asked after the others had left. Sure, Naruto. Just let me get Sakura back home and get used to your full speed for a while. Then we can have that fight. Kakashi said. He lifted Sakura from the ground and disappeared in a body flicker. Naruto released his resistance seal and started going through some movements to get used to his full speed again. Kakashi returned 10 minutes later, not in a good mood. Sakura's mother had thrown a fit about the condition of her daughter and demanded to know how it happened. So Kakashi told her that in a training fight against Shino Aburame, she was shown just why the Aburame clan was feared. He had left before Isami could get in a row. Ready, Naruto? Kakashi asked. Yes, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto answered. He was standing in the opening stance of the Uzumaki style, the Tide's Fist. Contrary to the Cheetah Fist that was mainly based on speed, the Tide's Fist was a flowing style. It had a change between fast and strong attacks like the Flood, and flowing, slower attacks that were not meant to cause damage, but distract an opponent. Naruto had also added his Bastardi's Gentle Fist, and therefore increased the damage the style could deal an opponent. Kakashi started attacking Naruto with a fast attack, but Naruto avoided the punch, directed to his torso. He took off with his full speed and the fight was on. In his office, the Hokage watched the fight between Naruto and Kakashi. He was, so far, satisfied with Kakashi's work with his team. He kept them busy, Sasuke and Sakura out of the village during D-rank missions to not have the worship of the villagers badly influence Sasuke. Naruto got a good deal of personal attention from Kakashi while the Jonin didn't neglect the other two, and Kakashi was working on getting back to his old form. As long as nothing interfered with Kakashi's mission, things would work out. The root agents Danzo had sent were also on a good way with their missions. So far he had found 30 decrees which he would take back. As the Hokage, he had the power to change decrees. Only with laws things were different, but those he had always checked very carefully. If there were any new laws that he didn't remember passing, there was more wrong than he thought. So far that area had turned out negatively. But they hadn't got through all years since Minato's death yet. Many things could be hidden in the archives. And he knew the Uchiha had tried to force their will through many times. While Naruto and Kakashi were going into the phase that they were including ninjutsu, it knocked at the Hokage's door. "Come in." He called and deactivated the crystal ball. Outside the door were Koharu and Hamura, the village elders beside Danzo. They were also his old teammates under the Naruto Hokage. "Koharu, Hamura, what do I owe the pleasure of your visit?" he asked, smiling. He was on guard. Over the years both his old teammates had taken a more militaristic view than he liked. And they had been some of the people to treat Naruto like nothing more than a weapon. Hamura had been the one to constantly suggest letting Danzo train Naruto to make the boy Konoha's secret weapon. It was one of the reasons he had had to hold on to the hat for so long. Other candidates would have been eaten alive by the council and the elders. He had decades of experience to deal with them. "Hokage-sama, we are a bit concerned about the reactions to your latest decisions," Hamura said. The Hokage guessed it was the Ninja Academy curriculum. When Inoichi Yamanaka, Hayashi Hyuga and Yuri Kurama had seen the things the students were set to learn and how many hours the timetable dedicated to each area, they had loudly protested. Even the stoic Hayashi was obviously disgusted with how useless the curriculum had become. There was a focus on theory work with a ratio of 75% theory and 25% practical. They had sworn to get the curriculum adjusted to more physical training and cutting out useless civilian lessons. The civilian council hadn't been pleased. "I guess you are talking about the Ninja Academy," he said. "Yes, that too. While I can understand that there need to be changes to get a better ratio of those who pass their genin tests, it could lead to problems if the civilian council is completely cut out of the decision what is taught." Koharu said. "Yes, many civilian parents sent their children to the academy because they thought they had a chance to become ninja with the current curriculum. If it is changed, many will probably send them to civilian schools." Hamura added. "You have seen the current curriculum?" the Hokage asked. "Yes, and while it's not good, I think a few adjustments would fulfill the need for better graduation results better than a radical change of the whole curriculum," Koharu said. "No, they wouldn't. And regarding your concern for having less civilian students, at the moment, the only thing these children are when they leave the academy and by whatever miracle pass their genin test is cannon fodder," the Hokage stated. Both his old teammates looked at him disbelievingly. From all civilian students in a class, normally only 10% have the determination to put in the necessary effort in training to make the cut. Rock Lee from last year is such a case, but his success is mostly due to Guy motivating him properly. But those types that train like crazy on their own to overcome their weakness and turn their only talent into a strength are rare. The 3 teams that passed this year only have one civilian-raised child in them, which is Sakura Haruno. Both elders nodded. Now from Kakashi's reports, he doesn't have any problems with the motivation in training of both Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki. Both boys do whatever exercise he has thought up without complaint, even if he can tell that Sasuke is often close to collapsing. Sakura, on the other hand, is complaining all the time, has neglected her training during the academy massively, and is more interested in getting Sasuke to fall for her than becoming a good kunoichi. He informed them. "Well, from what we heard over the last weeks, Kakashi is training them really hard. It's more than normal that a girl like Sakura from a civilian family has problems adjusting. Nearly all fresh genin would have," Koharu said. "The only stories that can spread around are those Sakura tells her mother, and as she is the one who is worst on her team, it's safe to assume she exaggerates. And with Isami and her ridiculous plans how to get her daughter to marry Sasuke, she didn't do her daughter any favors in the past with filling her head with nonsense. I know how the girl behaved in the academy. Outside of the exercises the teachers had them do there, she didn't do any training. Instead, she stalked Sasuke like many other girls and invested more time and money in beauty products and body care than in ninja training and training equipment. The only reason she passed is that Sasuke ordered her what to do in Kakashi's test after Naruto flat out told Sasuke the meaning of the test. All the other civilian graduates failed the tests of the other Jonin senseis. And the one who has the most difficult test is Kakashi. His test is the bell test that I came up with. His has a focus on teamwork, which he makes a bit difficult to realize, but he has the right to try and deceive his students. All the others, while their tests may not directly set the genin against each other, also focus mainly on how they get a set task done together. If they together can't even get the tasks our jonin come up with done after 4 years, sometimes 5 years, of training, then something is massively wrong. The civilian council took the power to decide over the curriculum after the QB attack, and at that time I was too busy to really think what consequences that change would have. But I won't accept that we only get the clan children as new genin, while we waste potential in civilian children due to bad teaching. Remember, Jiraiya was a civilian kid and he became the most powerful of the Sannin despite Orochimaru being a genius and Tsunade, the granddaughter of the Shodai. In a full-out fight Jiraiya would win. So there are talents that can be found. But without the proper training in the beginning, they will quit or be killed early in their career. And it is not the intention of the ninja program to have genin do D ranks for a prolonged period of time. They are to learn basic skills, promote teamwork and get them used to missions similar to the D rank ones which just are of a higher profile. Otherwise I wouldn't even allow the civilians to hand in requests for chores to be done by our genin. I mean, weeding a normal garden and babysitting could be done by civilian children that want to earn more pocket money. The Hokage explained. Both elders had to agree. In their times, the time a team did D ranks had been shorter on average. They were used to get a team through the consolidation process during which a sensei worked on their basic skills and trained them in chakra control. Normally the jonin also got them 2 or 3 jutsus over the first 6 months to increase their skills, intermixed with the occasional rare C rank to get a team used to the outside world and not have the overeager ones get too bored in the village. Is there a reason that in the village only teams 8 and 10 are seen doing missions? I haven't seen Team 7 over the past 3 weeks since the teams were confirmed to have passed. Hamura asked. Yes, there is, but it's between Kakashi and I what the reason is. Just know I have a good reason why Teams 8 and 10 are the face for the new generation, he said. But wouldn't it be good for our funds and the public relations to have Sasuke do missions that are seen by the villagers? Kohara asked. That may be, but the reasons to have Team 7 do the missions they are doing are more important than a few more D ranks, the Hokage said. Hamura pondered over the reasons. He had been a ninja all his life and knew the reasons that normally led to a genin not having contact with the villagers for a prolonged period of time. He would have to observe for a while longer to get the right conclusion. Hiruzen didn't seem willing to tell them more. He was back to his old persona. This was the god of shinobi, not the kind grandfather that watched over the village. Then I just have one last question. Do you have a prospective successor? We all know that you are only holding on to the office until you find somebody that can take over. Hamura said. Yes, and I will announce my successor during the finals of the Chunin exams that begin in a bit more than 5 months, he said. So you aren't going to tell us before? Kohara asked. No, not yet. My successor has one last mission to do that doesn't need more public attention with me naming him successor. The Hokage informed them. They nodded. Secrecy was part of a ninja's life after all. They both bid the Hokage goodbye and left the office.